Milei has managed to change the way we perceive the right and the left. So
Yeah.
it's no longer, communists, capitalists. It's anti-government, and that's the right, and pro-government oppression, and that's the left. That's basically
Yeah.
how people think nowadays.
Buy my novel, Escape from the Village, from major booksellers online. Go to escapevillage.com. Subscribe to the Substack. Go to fountainheadforum.substack.com. Support the forum. Go to buymeacoffee.com/fountainheadforum. Thank you. Welcome to the party, pal. This is Fountainhead Forum 328. We had some connectivity issues during this stream, which was 3 hours. Sometimes it happened on Agustin's side. Sometimes it happened with the video that we're watching. The video will freeze, but the audio keeps going. So we're critiquing Milei's speech here. So we have the content of the speech in Spanish, but the video freezes, so we don't quite have the captions. What's odd was this was showing correctly on my own system during the time, but the freezes got on the stream, but I didn't see the freezes on my end. I may figure out something different to do this. So I'm talking with Agustin Beldi, and he's definitely a friend because he's the guy who gave me this poster, which is one of my most prized possessions. This is the Milei poster that I like to take to various events with me. So thank you, Agustin, and I hope you'll enjoy Fountainhead Forum 328. Agustin Beldi is back. We're going to watch Javier Milei's speech to Congress, which was on the 1st of March. We're going to go to the Oficina del Presidente channel. This is where the speech was. You can get all of these nice little speeches here without ads. They show them all, so they're a really great place. That's really like to thank it. In fact, they since it's for the president, they also go in the past. They also have the ones for Fernandez up there too. So we are going to watch this speech now, and I cut out all the pomp and circumstance because this is kind of a long one. So we're getting to the point where it just starts right now here. So let's go. How are you, Agustin?
I'm doing fine. I started my master's in cyber defense, and I've been busy with that. Uh, I had forgotten what exams were all about and finals and all that.
Yeah.
And when you're 30 something year old, you don't think about going back to college to study. And when you look for further education, it sometimes get complicated with working and then going to college and then going back to
Yeah.
working. And it's tedious sometimes, but
I can imagine.
apart from that, and I'm doing fine.
Yeah. This is it. This is interesting. I've noticed sometimes the flag has I'll go, but I've noticed sometimes the flag has the sun on there. Here. Okay, who are these two guys?
There is a difference between those flags. This is
Yeah.
bandera y banderola. So bandera is the flag, proper flag,
Okay. Yeah.
and banderola is like the three stripes, and
Yeah.
they have different meanings and they are used for different things. It is not very proper to hang the national symbol from every wall in every building, and so the banderolas are used. The official flag has the sun in it with the
Yes.
32 rays, and the it's called the Inca sun, or the Incas sun, or the sun of the Incas.
Yes.
It's a very important symbol in South America, and we appropriate it for ourselves because we are the best at everything.
Uruguay appropriated onto their flag too. You know who these two guys are?
Don't remember. I think one of them is a judge and the other one is a minister. But no,
Okay.
no, it's not a minister. It's a. We
Okay.
should have done this. We should have done this when it came out first because it
Okay.
was more relevant.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, that's Lorenzetti. That's a judge. That's a judge from the Supreme Court, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Levantado el cuarto intermedio, continúa la sesión de asamblea. Invito al señor presidente de la Nación Argentina a ingresar al recinto.
Yeah.
We
We can see there that's Villarroel, the vice president, and next to her is Martin Menem, which is
Yeah.
the equivalent to the Speaker of the House
Yes.
in the United States. He's it's really funny about this about this speech from Milei. Is in the background, you're gonna see him drinking water like crazy. He was
Yep.
thirsty. He chugged like 2 jugs of water during the whole speech.
Yes. Bad thing about doing that is you may have to get up and pee a lot if you drink a lot. So, okay, let's go. Yeah.
Oh, he held it.
A
He had it like a
efectos de
champ.
realizar
Yeah. Who's next to Menem right there? There's kind of a bald guy. We see him a little bit. I don't
la
know if you can
apertura
tell.
de sesiones del
No, I'm gonna
honorable
have to see him more. I'm trying to do the. I don't know because that's like the vice president of the House of Representatives. So
Okay.
there is Martin Menem, and then there is a vice president, and there's the vice president of the vice president, and so on and so forth. And there are secretaries, and they take their position whenever someone needs a break and so on.
Milei walks in. Yeah, he's got his not wearing his glasses. I love
No,
the presidential sash. And then there's a Karina and there's a Sturzenegger.
no, that's not Sturzenegger. That
That's
is
a, oh,
Guillermo Francos.
Guillermo Francos. Yeah, Francos. Okay.
He's the chief of staff right now.
Yeah. Chief of staff.
Uh,
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
he's the magic man. He's the magic man nowadays. He's the deal guy. He's the consensus man. Whenever you need someone to get you something, you call Guillermo Francos and he gets it to you. It's
There's a there's
that
a
is Caputo. That is the
Bullrich is
Ministry of
on the
Economy.
left. Yeah.
Bullrich, the one between the two, Bullrich is the Ministry of Security, and then you got Libarona, which is the Minister of Justice. I think it's the DOJ, the Director of Justice, or Secretary of Justice in the United
Yeah.
States. And then next to Caputo on the other side, you got Petri, which is the Minister of Defense.
Yes. Petri, which is the Minister of Justice. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good picture there. Yeah. Everybody's got nice blue ties on. Who's that hugging Meatley right now? Is that his dad?
One old man. Stop it, stop it. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go back a
So
little.
next to Patricia Bullrich on
Yeah.
my left, that would be the video's right. That is
Jovello.
the Minister of Human Capital,
Yeah.
which is the ministry that was created by Millet to kind of like merge many different ministers together. So the logic there is you get one position to replace three. And so that's how he managed to make the government smaller by
Mhm.
grabbing different positions, political or otherwise, which were compatible between one another or that had something to do with one another. For example, in
Yes.
the Ministry of Social Development, there is a secretary dedicated for cultural enrichment, and then there is
Right.
another ministry in the Ministry of Culture, which is dedicated to cultural exports. So basically, like dragging artists to the rest of the world to get noticed. Millet said, we don't need those positions, just make them one. And that happened in the Ministry of the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of
Yeah.
um, uh, Human Development or Social Development, and then the Ministry of Culture. And so he joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with the Ministry of Culture. Those are one thing. Uh, then he merged social development, health, and a couple of others that I don't remember the names. You need to
Yeah.
remember that we had something like 47 ministries before Millet took office, and so now we have
Yeah.
like
I thought it went from 21 to 9 or something like that. But yeah,
yeah,
definitely reduction. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good explanation. Okay. Let's keep going here.
the old days,
Yeah.
four months ago, the good old days.
Yeah. There's a lot of people here.
Oh yeah,
Did I see Gordo Dan in the back there or not?
yes, he is in the. I think he is. I don't remember, but he's probably
Yeah.
in one of those balconies you see around. because the
Okay, yeah.
floor of the of Congress is only for representatives.
Okay, it's on the yeah,
So
you and me
everyone that is
understand exactly
invited
that.
is always on the balconies. If
Yeah,
you're
going to
not a
yeah,
representative, you don't get to be on the
yeah.
floor.
That makes sense. Yeah, they because they've all got one chair, so yeah.
Huh. Well, no, there are more chairs, but still, um, there is a ceremonial aspect to it as well,
There's always a ceremonial aspect to it, but man,
and I think it's good. I think it's
this
good.
you're
The the
building.
the the, um, the mystery behind ceremony, it's often forgotten, and it's a mystery because we forgot why we do them. But those kinds of things are important, not only for us but for them as well. They
Yeah.
need to remember who they are and what they're doing there.
Oh yeah,
And
and your buildings are so beautiful. Oh man, it's just
oh yes, they are. They're all Roman
yeah.
inspired.
Hmm.
Everything in Argentina is Roman inspired. There's very few Mexican style things. Everything was changed between 1880 and 1900s.
Yeah,
Everything was basically built in the Roman style because we felt like the Rome, like the new Rome, you know. And then came the 100 years of humiliation, and now we're feeling again like Rome. You know,
yeah,
it's a weird thing. We feel that we are like the inheritors of something great, and we never grasp it. And
yeah,
there's a sad aspect about it. And I think the only country in the world that has this level of nationalism is the United States. You think or you feel like the Rome of the world, Pax Americana, and all that stuff. We take
yeah,
a more lighter approach. We just build stuff differently.
yeah. Argentina is really it's Europe and South America, which including the electrical outlets. I mean, yeah, it's a. So let's keep going here. Yeah, I think he's going to get started here pretty soon. So turn the volume back up. We want to hear the audience too. They put a lot more effort into woodworking and stuff too. The tables and so
Oh yes, yes.
you got to still got to put the work in though. But yeah, it's
Because it's cheap.
Que no crezca la cantidad de dinero.
the amount of money not grow.
No, and the ministers. Oh, that's the Supreme Court. That's the Supreme Court. Those are
Okay,
the
that,
four judges of the Supreme Court.
4 judges on the Supreme Court.
There used to be three, and we need to choose one more. I mean,
Yeah,
there are three
you don't
now.
want
There are
ties.
three now. One
You
of
don't
them
want
was
ties.
retired.
If you have
No,
four, you're
one of
going to
them
have
was
ties. That's the
retired.
problem.
The president has two votes.
Yeah.
Whenever there is a tie, the president has two votes.
Okay.
But there are supposed to be five now, but we haven't gone around to choosing another one. There's always trouble because the Senate has to choose, and then the president has to propose, and then comes the interviews and all that jazz. Well, you know, it's basically the same system
Mhm.
as in the United States. But one of them retired, so we have three now. So the president of the Supreme Court doesn't have superpowers anymore, so he cannot fly or shoot lasers out of his eyes or legislate. So that's nice.
Yes.
I cannot listen a thing.
Nothing started
Diputados
yet.
y senadores del Congreso de la
Oh,
Nación,
there we go.
Okay.
gobernadores, ministros de la Corte Suprema de Justicia, embajadores, estimados miembros del Gabinete Nacional y a todos los argentinos que nos están escuchando desde sus hogares, buenas noches. Hoy
Buenas
estamos aquí
noches, señor
reunidos,
presidente.
como establece la
What?
Buenas noches, señor presidente.
Yes. Buenas noches. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, something about this speech. Milei is the first president that changed the times for the presidential speeches to prime time. So it's between 2000 and so 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. All his speeches are
Yes.
around that time.
So
So
people
everyone
watch
can
them when
see
they're
them.
not working. Yeah. He's a master of public relations. He just always thinks of those things.
Oh, he has a great team.
Yeah.
He has a
la
great team
Constitución
behind him.
Nacional en su artículo 99 para dar cuenta del Estado de la Nación y así dar inicio a un nuevo periodo legislativo. Debo decir que miro hacia atrás a lo que fue nuestro primer discurso del Estado de la Nación. Indudablemente podemos afirmar que hoy el país es radicalmente distinto a lo que era hace tan solo un año. Pero antes de hacer un balance acerca de lo que ha sido este primer año de gestión de la nueva administración, quiero hacer una breve reflexión. Probablemente
Forgot to mention also he put the glasses on.
la
Oh, yeah,
sociedad
yeah, yeah.
argentina sea una de
Always
las
with the
más
little,
familiarizadas con la frustración política.
Yeah,
the personal, agenda. So it's the what you call it, the little book in which you write what you're gonna do during the week and all that.
yeah.
Uh,
Journal,
like
diary,
the
planner.
journal, but it's not a diary. It's a
Yeah,
journal, but it has the days
yeah,
of the week. And for example, you write there a meeting with someone at that time or whatever, and he keeps it with himself all the time because he's always taking notes about what he reads, and apparently he reads a lot, and so
oh gosh.
he's always taking notes, and there's always something that and whenever you have an interview with him, I haven't, but people have told me that he's talking and he's reminded himself about something he read, and so he takes out a little personal diary and he starts like oh yeah, here is on chapter 14 of that book of this author, and he remembers that, and it's like a memory aid.
Yeah, I can only imagine what he's read. And like I said, I would love to see what his bookshelf looks like. Love to
Yeah,
see that. Yeah,
he's got thousands of books.
wouldn't shock me.
De la historia moderna. Para sintetizar esta idea en un número impalpable, somos un país en donde la pobreza se multiplicó por 10 entre 1974 y fines de 2023. Para tener una idea,
Poverty multiplied by 10 from 74 to 2023. Wow. Yep.
Yeah, we went from 5% poverty to
desde la década
58.
Yeah.
58. That was a huge deal, and everyone could feel it. And the government, instead of giving more freedom for people to hire anyone, they
Yeah.
started putting more controls because they said that it was immoral to hire anyone and not tell the government. And so you had to tell the government in order for the government to tax you on every employee as well. That was
Yep.
one of the things that Milei put in the special law that he came
Yeah.
and that he wrote and he passed in Congress. Well, half of the law, but still, the other half is coming along nicely.
Yeah.
del 70 hasta acá, el mundo bajó la pobreza del 50% al 10% y nosotros del 5 la llevamos al 50%. Una verdadera aberración fruto de la casta política. Eso quiere decir que la única experiencia que tuvieron los argentinos a lo largo de la mayoría de sus vidas fue una senda de deterioro de su poder adquisitivo, una larga agonía con pequeños intervalos de crecimiento, rápidamente frustrado por brutos masazos de realidad. Es natural que después de tantas décadas transitando esta espiral de empobrecimiento, para una gran mayoría la decadencia se sienta como una fatal e inescapable situación o una dolencia crónica a la que uno amargamente se acostumbra. Por programas económicos insostenibles y por infinitas promesas incumplidas, cada nueva experiencia política ha traído más frustración que la anterior.
Well,
Por eso se habla de la ciclotimia
right
política
now
argentina.
He's what?
he's talking straight to the people. He's not talking to
Yes.
Congress. It's
Yeah.
it was a moment in which he was saying, "I'm going to tell you the story you all know, because after this, I'm going to tell you which sacrifices are left." And so this speech was very important at the time because it came with the promise of the new law that he wanted to pass, and of course all the executive orders that he passed, and that they were massive documents with thousands of articles and sub articles, and they basically were the greatest political reform in the history of Argentina. So in 200 and something years, 210 years, no one had ever done such a big change. Not even Perón when he changed the constitution, or Menem when he changed the constitution in the 90s. And Milei didn't need to change the constitution to do that. So basically, he was given free reign, um, and Congress was not able to stop him. That's another thing. Since this speech, Congress has been constantly trying to um, stop Milei and to break the deficit balance, which is one of the greatest victories from this government. It's like
Yeah.
we're not losing money anymore.
Yeah,
The government is not making me lose money, and so
yeah, we're spending less than we're taking in.
exactly, and so Congress has been constantly trying to break that deficit, and Milei has been very successful in stopping them, together with Guillermo Franco, Carina Milei, and every one of his ministers, Caputo in particular. He's very well regarded.
Yeah.
I don't remember in my lifetime anyone to have any minister of economy to be so popular.
Wow.
Ilusionamos con un cambio, chocamos, nos desencantamos y el ciclo lo comienza nuevamente, borrando con el codo lo escrito con la mano. Que se quede tranquila que no lo vamos a repetir, vas a crecer en libertad.
So so basically, what happened there happened. Two things happened at the same time. Uh, um, he first used a very Argentinian expression, which is to erase with your elbow what you wrote with your hand. Basically means when you make a mistake and you try to play dumb and you try to use your elbow to rub it off, you know, that is a very Argentinian expression. And the second thing that happened is that there is a baby that cried and he was just referring to the mistakes of the past. And so he stopped what he was saying, looked at the baby, let it do it, because he's going to grow up in freedom. He's not going to grow up in oppression.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't just ignore the baby. I think it probably helps to give the baby a little attention.
Yeah,
You know
put a
who
baby on
that
the
is, or
camera and you
I
get more
assume that's
ratings.
mom, but you know who that is, or yeah,
No. I think it's probably like a guest. You know, it's
yeah,
very common for the State of the Union address in the United States and in the aperture of the congressional of Congress. So the opening of Congress to invite people. So probably it was someone that they invited, and there is a very cherubic like baby on the screen. So that's always good.
yeah. Look at how Bullrich is smiling. It's like, yeah, oh, there's a baby. I think it might be the first time I've seen Bullrich smile, but
Oh yeah, she's an Iron Lady. Yeah,
yeah,
it is common to see her smile.
yeah,
She has
yeah,
she
I'm
has
not there. Yeah,
affectionate moments. Um,
yeah,
it's actually very weird to see like very serious people. Everyone that is related to the armed forces or security forces are
yeah.
always very serious, very always frowning and it's kind of like a change of pace, and she is very well respected among the police and all the.
Yes, yes. Okay, let's keep going. Look at that baby! Oh my God!
No es casualidad que escuchemos constantemente, no te ilusiones, es en vano. Tampoco es casualidad que las últimas elecciones las haya ganado el primer presidente liberal libertario, un completo outsider del sistema. Es algo que jamás hubiese ocurrido si los políticos tradicionales hubiesen mejorado nuestras vidas. La Argentina, durante
This is
100
kind of
años,
funny because
giró como
it's the
una
same as
calecita.
Donald Trump. This is kind of funny because it's the same as Donald Trump. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have ever met them. If they had done their job right, you wouldn't have known them as politicians, much less presidents.
Yeah, but he's definitely not Trump. Trust me.
En un sendero decreciente, dando vueltas sobre su propio eje, y erosionando en cada vuelta su economía, su credibilidad y la calidad de vida de sus ciudadanos. ¿Y por qué fallaron todos nuestros intentos de salir? La respuesta es simple, porque siempre se partió desde un diagnóstico equivocado. Nadie nunca cuestionó el eje sobre el que giraba la calecita, la mano negra del Estado omnipresente. Todas las falsas dicotomías de nuestra historia, campo o industria, dólar barato o caro, peronismo o antiperonismo, escondieron atrás la misma constante. Y la política siempre
Right there.
defendió al Estado con uñas y dientes.
What?
Right there. You see how every time he talks about politics and the political caste and the opposition, he's always
Yes.
using very poignant language. The axis of evil, the black hand of politics, and
Yeah.
he never says it outright like an insult, but it's like in a communicational sense. He's always using very poignant words that could be used in set phrases outside of the speech, and people would find them casual in conversation. And that's how you build from a speech analysis, from a speech, from your position as president giving a speech. That's how you build a narrative outside of the media.
Yes.
Viendo la administración pública como un botín a ser conquistado. Eso es el verdadero modelo de la casta. Entonces, ¿cómo íbamos a tener distintos resultados si en lugar de cambiar la receta estábamos solamente cambiando el cocinero? Nuestra receta es clara y concisa. Venimos a romper la calicita, quitarle la manija al sortijero y trazar un horizonte de progreso hacia adelante con cambios profundos que atacan la raíz de nuestros males.
Quitarle la
Para
manija al
ello,
sortijero.
tomamos el toro por la...
Definitely what?
Quitarle la manija al sortijero. So
He
taking the
definitely
handle out
what?
of the ring box. Taking the handle out of the ring box. Do you know what a ring box is?
No, what's a ring box?
It's grandmas used to have sortijeros, so ring boxes in which they used to put all their little rings and earrings and necklaces. Do you know what that is?
A jewelry box?
A jewelry box. Yeah.
Yeah.
So taking the handle out of the jewelry box, it's an expression, because in the olden times when your grandmother used to have dementia or Alzheimer's, she would start taking out her jewelry and she would gift it to other people, or she would wear it and then throw it away, and that was very valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very
and
valuable.
and so people used to take the handle out of the ring box from their mother's jewelry box.
Okay. Yes.
People used to break off the handles from the jewelry box before their mothers, when they started realizing that their mothers had dementia or whatnot. So
Okay.
grandma wouldn't throw away all her jewelry.
astas, proponiéndonos resolver los problemas de fondo. Por eso nos encomendamos recuperar la racionalidad económica, achicar el Estado, devolverle la libertad a la sociedad, restablecer el imperio de la ley y borrar los privilegios que la política acumuló a lo largo de los años. De esta manera, pasamos de heredar 15 puntos de déficit fiscal consolidado entre el Tesoro y el Banco Central a tener durante nuestro primer año superávit financiero libre de default, algo que no había ocurrido en los últimos 123 años.
That was his parents, right? Yeah.
Some of them, yes. Some of them were his parents, some others were political
En
figures.
paralelo a la disciplina fiscal, le aplicamos un torniquete a la emisión monetaria y gracias a estas dos anclas hemos reducido la inflación de una manera sin precedentes, incluso a una velocidad más rápida que la propia convertibilidad, que hasta el día de hoy era el programa de estabilización más exitoso de nuestra historia.
So,
Read and focus again.
can you pause it for a second?
Yeah.
Convertibilidad was the economic plan from the 90s that created a parity between the dollar and the peso.
Yeah.
So basically, for every dollar, there was one peso,
Yeah.
and they it was very successful at the time because it created a 0% inflation. But The problem is that the government couldn't keep the deficit in check. So there was always more debt than there were dollars in the bank. And whenever they wanted to pay for the debt, instead of having earnings from taxes, they started printing money because they didn't want to break the parity. And when they started printing money, the parity went off, and so they had to resort to selling companies like state companies, which was good. You privatize state companies; those are good things, but they did it horribly because they were desperate for dollars in order to maintain the parity, and so the selling of the companies was very criticized at the time,
Yeah.
and from the left and the right actually, and so and so that's why he's referring to that plan, because this is the most successful economic plan in history, even more than the convertibilidad.
Hoy nosotros podemos hacer alarde, sin lugar a dudas, de que nuestro programa económico es el más exitoso hasta la fecha. Solo para ejemplificar con números, el índice de inflación mayorista cuando asumimos que anualizado daba 17.000%, mientras que el mismo índice anualizado para el último registro fue de 19% anual. Y
I'll
esto lo
move.
logramos
I'll move every
sin
once in a while, so
confiscación
you know I haven't frozen over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
y plan Bonex, sin controles de precios, sin fijar el tipo de cambio y con recomposición tarifaria, algo que nunca se hizo en Argentina.
Was that Lilia? Limon?
No,
Okay.
no.
Gracias a quitarle a la política el poder de regular los precios a su antojo, logramos solucionar problemas de desabastecimiento de sectores claves como el de los combustibles y pudimos corregir el enorme problema de precios relativos que nos dejaron. Al asumir, teníamos cerca de 20 tipos de cambio diferentes, con una brecha entre el oficial y el libre que había llegado a niveles del 200%. Hoy la brecha se encuentra en valores inferiores al 15%.
And today it's almost non-existent.
What?
So la brecha, the bridge that he's talking about, is the
Yeah.
difference between what the government says the dollar is worth and how
Yeah.
much it is bought and sold on the street.
Yeah.
And during the last few months, from the last administration, it went up to 150%. And then when Milei took office, it somewhat stabilized. And then when he gave this speech, the bridge was 15%. Now that bridge, that difference in value between the actual worth of the dollar and the worth of the dollar in a bank, so what the government says is worth, it's floating between 1,100 and 1,200, and and it hasn't moved from that fluctuation in quite some time. And it is a great sign of stability in countries with a lot of inflation when the price of the dollar stays stable. It means that there is not that much inflation.
Yeah.
Pasamos de una economía donde las cuotas habían dejado de existir a una economía donde existen créditos hipotecarios a 30 años. Es decir, pasamos de hablar de hiperinflación a hablar de estabilidad a largo plazo.
Yeah. A little tidbit for you Americans. Now that you guys are experiencing inflation in a very serious sense of the word, I recommend you start using your credit cards because, this is not financial analysis. I am not a financial analyst, nor I am giving recommendation on how to do your finances. But in inflationary contexts, whatever you paid last week is going to be worth less what you pay
Yeah.
tomorrow. Therefore, anything you paid yesterday, that debt is going to remain the same, but the worth is going to be less and less and less and less. So if you paid something 10 and you get on your and you put it on your credit card, 3 months later, that 10 is going to be worth 1.
Yeah.
Meaning everything else is going to be much more expensive, but it's going to be easier for people to pay those debts.
Yes. I don't think Americans have any idea of what truly bad inflation is.
You're going to find out soon enough.
En el
There's certainly been a lot of people saying we will. Yeah.
camino eliminamos y redujimos impuestos y aranceles de distinto tipo. El señoriaje, esto es, la emisión de dinero para financiar el déficit que se traducía en inflación y que le robaba a los argentinos 15 puntos del PBI. El impuesto país, las retenciones a las exportaciones de manera definitiva para las economías regionales y de manera transitoria para los productos tradicionales que tarde o temprano las vamos a terminar de eliminar. También eliminamos el impuesto a las transferencias inmuebles, actualizamos los montos de ganancia para autónomos, actualizamos los montos del monotributo, redujimos bienes personales y realizamos el blanqueo de capitales más exitoso de la historia, pese a que los agoreros decían que iba a ser un fracaso.
Tax on real estate transfers? Like, so you have to pay tax if you sell a house? Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you used to pay when you sold your car, you had to pay. When you sold, like when you bought tires, you had to pay. When you sold your house, you had to pay. When you bought stuff for your home, or when you made an extension of your home, or you built on top of your home, or anything at all, you had to pay. That
Okay,
was one
wow.
of the. That's the order that he brought.
Yeah.
Cleaned up house and made it easier to buy and sell stuff and to own things and stuff like that. You can own stuff now. Do you know
Yeah.
that? You can own shit. It's amazing. I didn't know what it was. But let me tell you something. I'm much more willing to defend something that I bought with my own two hands than something that was given to me for free.
Oh, yeah.
So that's part of the cultural change.
Yeah. What's that little statue that's shown on the screen right there?
There's a bust. It's a Milei. That's a little
Okay,
Milei.
that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
It's an angry Milei, but still Milei.
Yeah, okay, we'll keep going. Yeah. There's Lilia. Yeah, that's
That is
definitely
Lily
Lilia.
Lemon,
Yeah.
yes.
Lilia Lemon, yes. I see her on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
Además, redujimos aranceles a una gran cantidad de importaciones, eliminamos impuestos externos para la compra y venta de autos y redujimos derechos de importación para autos eléctricos e híbridos. Como consecuencia de todo esto, la economía en el año 2024, punta a punta, en términos interanuales, no solo no cayó, sino que creció entre las puntas alrededor del 5%. Esto ocurrió contra todos los augurios de los agoreros del fracaso, que pronosticaban una caída vertical de la actividad económica de la que no íbamos a recuperar.
We're in 6%
Esto
now
es interesante porque
6% what?
of growth, GDP growth.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah. Chinese rates is called. It's
Yep.
more than 5% of growth year to year. That is called a Chinese rate, or that's what we call them here, anyways. But still,
Yeah.
cualquier otra experiencia con la mitad de ajuste, sí, hubiera derivado en caídas entre el 10 y el 15% del PBI. Entonces, cuando empezamos a hacer el ajuste, dijeron que era imposible, que ni siquiera íbamos a poder lograr un punto de ajuste en el propio 2024. Y en el primer mes de gestión, gracias a ese coloso que tenemos como ministro de Economía, que es Luis Toto Caputo, alcanzamos el equilibrio fiscal en el primer mes de gestión.
yeah.
Luis Toto Caputo, yes.
Toto is his nickname, because it's Luis Caputo, and so Toto is kind of like a nickname. Yeah, my neighbor Toto.
Yes.
My neighbor Caputo. Caputo Toto. Oh, God. Mm, ole, 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 ole. Toto,
They're
Toto.
singing something. What were they singing there?
Um, you know, football is very important in Argentina, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it tends to spill over to all facets of life. What you had there is a very famous ole 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 toto toto, which means basically we support you, you're great, uh, keep going, stuff like that. It's famous ole. I don't know how to translate that. It's
Okay.
very dramatic from here. Well, from every Spanish speaking country, but still. Ole, 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 ole,
Yeah.
Toto, Toto.
Después dijeron que era transitorio, que no lo íbamos a poder sostener. Y cuando con el correr de los meses
Gotta say, here's the thing about Milei. He looks like he's having a good time. He looks like he's having.
Yeah,
He
yeah, it's so
always
fun.
does.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so
Yeah.
fun. Everyone's having fun. That's just that's the thing about being convinced of your ideas, of being sure of what you're doing. Said you're having fun along the way, and Millet is always looking like he's having the time of his life. Really,
Yeah.
he's always
He,
laughing, smiling, and he only gets angry when he talks about the
yeah.
past.
He was. He would always be laughing and smiling in the debates, and Massa looked like. And I said Massa looked like somebody shoved a broomstick up his ass. It was, it was.
Yes, yeah, precisely.
veían que el equilibrio fiscal seguía, empezaron que igual no íbamos a poder bajar la inflación, que se iba a estacionar en el 30 y bajó, que se iba a estacionar en el 20 y bajó, que se iba a estacionar en el 8 y bajó, que se iba a estacionalizar en el 4 y bajó, y seguimos haciendo que la inflación baje.
The inflation for last month, I think it came out today. It just came out. I don't know. I haven't checked how much it was. I haven't checked in a couple of months how much inflation is. But
Entonces,
What were you saying there?
that he was talking about how much inflation was falling.
Yeah.
And at the time of this video recording, inflation reached, I think it was 4%. And now inflation is around 1.8. I don't remember exactly. I think inflation came out, the inflation rate came out today. Uh, and it's, let me check. Inflation is 1.6. Yeah,
Yeah.
for June. 1.6 for June. Yeah. So
Sounds good.
huge success. Huge success for the government.
es cuando ya era evidente que la inflación había entrado en un sendero decreciente, empezaron con las acusaciones del keynesianismo berreta, diciendo que nos íbamos a hundir y que la actividad económica se iba a desmoronar y que iba a explotar la pobreza.
Who's Barreta?
Berreta. It
Yeah.
means low quality, cheap knockoff. It means poorly made. It's all that. It comes from
Okay.
Italian.
Okay. I thought that was a person. I didn't realize that.
Qué malas noticias para ustedes keynesianos de acá y de todo el mundo, porque no solo eso, digamos, la actividad en medidas desestacionalizado, diciembre contra diciembre, terminó subiendo 4,8%, sin estacionalidad 5,5%, desde abril que la economía no para de crecer y que ustedes keynesianos no pueden parar de llorar.
You see how half the floor of Congress is empty, right?
Yeah. Why is it empty?
Because uh, the left wing of Congress left the House
Okay.
when Milei started speaking.
Oh. So Miriam Bregman's not there.
No, I don't think so. No. Although if I were her, I would stay just to scream inanities at him and in the hopes that one of them would become viral.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Cuando hablaban de caídas sin final, de la L y de la pipita de Nike suave, fue en B corta, aunque les duela a los del Frente para la Victoria, no sé cómo se llamen ahora, la Unión por la Plata, no sé.
I had forgotten he said that. That's so funny. So
What?
Milei said El Frente de Todos was the political coalition that brought Massa as the candidate for president.
Yeah.
They changed their name, brought Cristina, I'm sorry, Cristina, and then changed its name to Unión por la Patria. So the coalition changed, and therefore the name changed. And
Yeah.
Unión por la Patria was the coalition for Massa. Now, Milei, instead of saying Unión por la Patria, he said Unión por la Plata. So we're together for the money, talking about the political caste.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he basically called them a bunch of corrupt losers to his face.
Oh yeah. Yep.
En definitiva, nuestro programa de ajuste fue expansivo. Fue expansivo porque, tal como dijimos durante la campaña, la gran mayoría del ajuste recayó sobre el sector público y no sobre el sector privado, al que le devolvimos cerca de 15 puntos del PBI al eliminar el déficit fiscal. Y además le devolvimos 5 puntos adicionales, dado el crecimiento económico entre diciembre 23 y diciembre 24. Fruto de ello es que observamos cómo la pobreza en la frecuencia mensual medida por la Universidad Torcuato Di Tella, que metodológicamente es similar a la de SED, la de la UCA y el propio Ministerio de Capital Humano o el INDEC en una frecuencia semestral, bajó del 56% al 33%, que en cantidad de habitantes se traduce en 10 millones de personas que salieron de la línea de la pobreza.
$10 million people.
10 million people.
10 million people are no longer poor because we deregulated the economy, basically. Just by deregulating a couple of laws and
Yeah.
shutting down ministries and stuff like that. 10 million people
Oh
are
yeah.
no longer poor. You mean
Yeah.
to tell me that and then the left wing, like people from the left come to me and then talk and
Yeah.
they say whatever they want to say. And then I
Yeah.
just repeat to them, 10 million people no
Yep.
longer poor. In a country of 47 million people,
Yep.
10 million people no longer under the poverty line, simply because we deregulated the economy.
Yep.
They started earning money. They didn't have to pay so many taxes.
En definitiva, ajustar a la política no solo no es recesivo, es expansivo y elimina la pobreza. ¿Quieren terminar con la pobreza? Terminen con el curro de la política.
You can hear cheers. Just as Milei finished talking, you can hear the cheers from the people.
Yeah.
Se vio impulsada por la baja de la inflación, el aumento sostenido de los salarios reales y las jubilaciones, y el aumento de la AUH en términos reales y del plan alimentar, dado que para nosotros la reconstrucción argentina debe hacerse con todos adentro, en serio, no en discursos. Porque aunque necesitar de la asistencia social sea una tragedia, es necesario señalar que los que fueron relegados durante décadas son las víctimas del sistema y no los victimarios. Por eso el ajuste cayó y seguirá cayendo sobre la casta y nunca sobre los sectores más vulnerables. Pero ninguno de estos éxitos en materia económica fueron casualidad, sino consecuencia de que Argentina pasó de ser el peor alumno de la clase a ser el abanderado. De hecho, Argentina es hoy uno de los 5
That was mom and dad right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
países del mundo que actualmente goza de superávit financiero.
That's opposition
Eso
members.
explica también que los vaivenes
What?
Those two that they showed before, they were opposition, and now they're kinda like on our side. So there
Yeah.
has been a lot of politicians that have said, I was wrong, he was right, I'm going to join him. So there have been a lot of them, from mayors to governors to representatives.
Are they
And
are they joining Milei because they see that he's popular because they might really believe what he believes now?
well, you never truly know, right?
Yeah, you never really know.
You never really know, but still, it's something that makes the opposition and the left very worried. Oh, but that is something as well that the Millet has managed to change the way we perceive the right and the left. So
Yeah.
it's no longer, communists, capitalists. It's anti-government, and that's the right, and pro-government oppression, and that's the left. That's basically
Yeah.
how people think nowadays.
Oh, I know. It's he's changing people's minds. It's remarkable what he's doing. Yeah.
He made like certain things that became ubiquitous ubiquitous.
Yeah.
It
Ubiquitous.
became all encompassing in conversation nowadays. Everyone knows it. Everyone talks about it. The media lies. Uh, Printing money is wrong, and the left is for oppression. He basically was able to change the way we talk and we perceive the government. And it's been amazing, to be honest, to be able to
It
talk
is
to people.
amazing.
It's
Yes.
like, watch out, we don't hate journalists, enough. That's something else. Like, people are saying we don't hate journalists enough, and that was kind of like a meme. Michael Malice came up with the phrase, and it became a meme here in Argentina,
Yeah.
and now we repeat that. And it was Milei and the administration that were able to say, hey, watch out, because the media lies. They want
Mhm.
government contracts. They want that sweet dough that comes from the printing press. And so they're not going to be honest with you. And
Mhm.
basically now everyone knows that the journalists lie. Everyone knows that printing money is sick and wrong and creates poverty,
Yeah.
and everyone knows that the left is pro government oppression.
Yeah. And yeah. I wonder what Malice will say if he finds out Milei's been listening to him yet. But you got to get
Oh,
going here.
históricos
I
del
would
prime time
love to. If
televisivo.
you know him, or if you can get in touch with him, tell him I'm a big fan. But
Yeah.
tell him that Milei is actually listening to him.
Yeah. Mhm.
No redunden en cimbronazos económicos para decepción de políticos mezquinos y mandriles. Cuando los fundamentos del programa se mantienen, el ruido de la coyuntura no es otra cosa que eso, solo ruido.
Mm.
Al mismo tiempo, nos propusimos achicar el Estado de manera absoluta. Así fue como cerramos más de 200 áreas del Poder Ejecutivo con funciones duplicadas u obsoletas y echamos a más de 40.000 empleados públicos cuyos sueldos cargaban sobre las ya castigadas espaldas del sector privado. Para ver la ridiculez del Estado presente y las aberraciones que hicieron para estafar a los argentinos con el Estado, tomé uno de los tantos ejemplos que tenemos para contar, que es, por ejemplo, el de la agencia de viajes. Entonces, teníamos dirección de agencia de viajes. Además, teníamos
A
dirección de
government travel
control de
agency.
agencia de viajes.
A government travel agency. Oh my
And,
goodness.
no, but it was the government travel agency, and then there was the government control secretary of the government travel agency. So you had the travel agency and someone to control the travel agency.
Y además teníamos dirección de registro de agencia de viajes. Un escándalo, todo armado para estafar a los argentinos.
And then there was a third office that was basically to keep track of the travel agency. So basically, you had the travel agency, the government travel agency, you had the control of the government travel agency office, and then you had the registry of the travel agency of the government. So
Yeah.
all three separate entities.
Yes.
Argentinos de bien en favor de la casta política.
That's Tursanega. I'm sorry. If you go back
Yeah.
one
What?
second. If you go back 1 second. One more. Ah,
There?
no, one more. One frame more. There.
Okay, yeah.
You see the
Karina
bald
front
guy
row.
behind the bald guy?
Yeah.
That guy is Tursanega. The bald guy in the middle between Karina and Guillermo Francos. That guy is Tursanega.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
the guy that created the concept of Dodge. Then
Oh, yes.
Elon took for the United States
Yeah, and then
because
they completely ignored it. Yes.
well, people forgot that Elon came to Argentina or had a meeting with Milei. No, Milei
Yeah.
went to the United States, and Elon had a meeting with Elon. And Milei had a
Yes.
meeting with Elon with Sturzenegger, and they explained their project for the Dodge office, and ours became
Yes.
very successful because they were able to put it into law.
And wasn't successful here because they didn't care.
I wouldn't say that yet. You should wait. You should
I,
wait on that one. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Have a little faith on that one. It's not going to be exactly like you wanted it, but it's going to be pretty close. Just
I,
have hope. I'm telling you, it's going to be fine.
I want to go down to Buenos Aires and stand up on top of the tallest building in the city and just scream, "Trump is not Milei. He's not even close."
Well, you're looking at two completely different things.
Yeah,
Argentina is a completely isolated country from the rest of
yeah.
the world.
But Trump, I've never heard Trump quote any of the economists that Milei quotes. I mean, I don't
Well,
think
because
Trump can read.
Trump
I don't think
actually
Trump can read Hazlitt or even some of the simpler books.
Oh, well, yes, but that's because Trump will never quote anyone but himself.
Bien, eliminamos decenas de fondos fiduciarios que la política usaba discrecionalmente a su antojo. Eliminamos cajas de militancia como el INCA, el INADI, el Ministerio de la Mujer y TELAM. Y volvimos superioritarias empresas emblemáticas de la militancia deficitaria, como Aerolíneas Argentinas, AISA, Intercambio y ENARSA, entre otras, mientras empezamos a dar los primeros pasos para la privatización de todas las empresas públicas, porque entendemos que el Estado no está para reemplazar al empresario. Además, eliminamos la obra pública, que era uno de los curros más grandes de la política. Y aquí
You
también
see how the
quiero...
water keeps on going down on Martin Menem's
Yeah.
jug?
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of funny to watch it from this view because you can't see their heads. You just kind
Yeah,
of see up to their necks. What's the deal with that big black flower that
the flower of treason. That's what it is.
I don't yeah, I don't really it'd just be better if she just went with the coat. She always looks really good to her credit.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say so. She kind
Yeah.
of fell off the horse a couple of months ago, and
Oh
now
yeah.
it's straight out betrayal. What happened in Congress last week? That was
Oh yeah.
basically an institutional coup. They
Yeah, with
tried
the
to do an
Senate, she voted
institutional
ended up
coup.
voting against Milei. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but the entire session was unconstitutional and it was illegal. You
Yes.
cannot self-assemble on the Senate to vote laws. You have to assemble properly according to the almanac,
Yeah.
and they self-assembled, which is something they can do in order to vote for like internal manual, basically to vote how to proceed on votes. For example, they can vote on how to do the seat arrangements or how to distribute the offices in the Senate. That is something that they can self-assemble for. But
Yeah.
there was no quorum, meaning there were not enough senators. There
Yeah.
was no law that they could vote. They pulled laws out of their asses in order to vote for it and break the deficit.
Yeah.
And well, the zero deficit, I mean, and they also got together and at the behest of the vice president, which was it was a huge betrayal to the base, to everyone that voted for her, convinced that she was with Millet. So she basically betrayed everyone, ended up with nothing because she's simply now some politician. She's not nothing. She's nothing anymore because she doesn't have anyone that would support her. Who's going to support her now? Who's going to vote for a traitor? And that's the point. She has lost everything, and for some 5 minutes of fame on TV, she betrayed everything that everyone that put her where she is now. And so everyone is really angry at her, and she lost everything. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
she preceded a session in Congress in which they voted for laws that would break the zero deficit program from Millet, meaning that we would start to get lose money again or get
Yeah.
more inflation. And Millet vetoed everything and came out atop on the end because they judicialized the entire procedure, meaning that they stopped us going forward, meaning that for 2 years those laws are not going to be able to be put forth again. So at the end of the day, this institutional coup, how do you say when you shoot a gun and it backfires to you? It
You're
backfired.
just it backfires, it
It
ricochets.
backfired. They shoot themselves in the foot,
Yeah.
basically. And
It's kind of like when
yeah,
some in the cartoons when somebody shoots a laser and then somebody holds up a mirror and it mirrors right back at them.
yeah,
That kind of thing. Yeah, it's rather sad. Who knows? Let's get going here.
En claro una de las grandes falacias y mentiras de la política para con la gente, cuando dicen esa mentira de que la obra pública genera trabajo. Le digo a los argentinos de bien que eso es falso. Es falso, porque las obras públicas hay que financiarlas y se financian con impuestos, ya sea impuestos explícitos o con emisión monetaria que deriva después en el impuesto inflacionario, o con deuda, esa inmoralidad que castiga a las generaciones futuras. Por lo tanto, cuando se financia la obra pública, se quita capacidad de demanda en otros sectores y el empleo que se crea con la obra pública es empleo que se destruyó en otras áreas de la economía, áreas donde sí la gente quería gastar y no estas cosas de prepo hechas por el Estado que solo benefician a aquellos que la ejecutan y a nada a los argentinos de bien. Por lo tanto, digamos, espero que por lo menos del debate público, después de quedar claro esto, erradiquemos esa mentira de que la obra pública no genera puestos de trabajo. La obra pública genera impuestos.
Yeah, I saw Roscoe hiding behind a phone.
who?
Maria Amelia Orozco
Oh yeah, from the one
from Salta. Yeah.
from Salta. I listened to her in an interview. I don't know her. I haven't had much chance to talk to her, but
Yeah.
I heard her on an interview a couple of days ago, and she was mesmerizing. Really, a lot of character, genuinity, smart, brilliant smile. And the whole
Yeah.
package still really it was
Oh
amazing,
yeah.
really interesting. I hope she has a long future in politics.
Oh yeah. And she's still under 40. Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah.
También eliminamos por completo la
Beautiful.
publicidad oficial, instrumento del que se
Oh,
valía la casta para opinar.
What?
this is amazing. Did you know the government used to pay for journalists and
Yes.
newspapers and media so they could exist?
Yes, they did. Yes, of course they
He
did.
cut him off. He cut him off from one day to the other.
Políticamente
Poof,
y
no more
difundir su
outlets. It was amazing. It was beautiful. There used to be like hundreds of newspapers that nobody read. And then other journalists would go on primetime TV and they would hold up these newspapers like they were evidence in a trial. And they would go like, this newspaper that says that sources close to the president, and then you look at the sources, and it was the hobo living by the gates. on the pink house. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. He's not a source. He made it up. And so these newspapers would exist by making shit up.
Yep.
The government would give them a praise, would support them financially so they could continue to exist. It's
Yeah.
completely irrational.
Yes, it is. Okay, still got 55 minutes left here.
Mentiras en los medios.
Ugh.
Fuimos los únicos en eliminar la pauta oficial. Nosotros no necesitamos sobornar a los medios. Nosotros tenemos logros. No necesitamos periodistas mentirosos pagados por el erario público.
Paid by the public. That's what he
He's
said.
getting kind of riled up now. He's getting a little louder, more energetic.
Yeah. It's always like Goku charging up for an attack.
Yeah.
It begins kind of mild, and then it starts slowly picking up pace and picking up pace and picking up pace.
Yeah, a little louder, a little more energetic. Yeah.
Oh, that there is Adorni, the guy in the middle.
Who? Adorni?
Adorni, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's the guy that became he's a representative for the city of Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
He won the election a couple of months ago. Amazing election, by the way. He used to be the speaker of the president.
Yeah. I wonder why he did that, but there must have been good reasons.
Oh, because he's wildly popular in the city. He
Okay,
is wildly popular because he comes from a party called the UCD, and it used to be the right-wing libertarian party before Milei. And
Certainly.
he's very well known in the city. Yeah.
Well, big cities seem to be so socialist now. It's really hard to get them not to be socialist. I don't know why, but it just seems to be that way. So yeah.
Well, one funny thing about Buenos Aires is that even though it's a big city, it still has, that horse culture, that country culture, the jockey club, the open, the polo open. People get together to play polo. The Buenos Aires Open, the Argentina Open, the Palermo Open, and so it's wildly right wing. There are parts of Buenos Aires that are so right wing that the only left wing is within colleges. That's the problem. Big cities have colleges.
Yeah.
Le quitamos potestades ridículas al Estado que nunca se le debieron haber concedido. Durante nuestro primer año de gestión, entre el DNU 7023, la ley base y el proceso de regulación más grande de la historia, hemos concentrado alrededor y concretado 1.700 reformas estructurales, eliminando regulaciones que cercenaban libertades comerciales y económicas y le ponían palos en la rueda al gran motor productivo de nuestro país, que es el sector privado.
Yeah, boy.
Acá también quiero hacer un ejemplo que ese maravilloso y superlativo ministro que tengo, que es el ministro de Regulación, el doctor Federico Sturzenegger.
There we go. The Ministry of Deregulation.
Yes, there he is. He is the man.
He's huge, man. He's like 6'5".
Oh, he is?
He's tall like a mountain, man. He's like 2 meters something. That's 6'5" or something.
I always tell people also, in America, I figure you're probably not going to be able to get Milei as a speaker, but get Sturzenegger also because he speaks English.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at a conference.
He's Harvard. I think he has a Harvard degree or something.
Harvard's a bunch of communists, so yeah.
Well, I'm talking from the Reagan era.
Yes.
Still.
Yeah.
Es más, dada las costumbres de una parte de la clase política, hemos decidido hacer el ejemplo en términos cuánto pesaba el papel. Entonces, por ejemplo, en el caso de las regulaciones para las frutas, las regulaciones que teníamos pesaban 1.600 gramos. Hoy, con el accionar de Federico Sturzenegger, esas regulaciones han caído a 80 gramos, es decir, cayeron en un 95%.
There were so many regulations. There used to be so many regulations that you had to weigh the paper in order to know how much. And so you would get the paper, like the actual forms for, like, to import or to export or whatever. You get the form, the paper form that you get from the DNV or whatever, and you
Yes.
used to fill it out, and you used to wait, and it was like, okay, you got 1,600, and you knew more or less that everything was in order because of that.
Yes.
And so now the weight is 80 grams. So basically, 95% of regulations were forgotten.
Petrovilla looks like she's having a really good time.
She's the Ministry of Human Capital.
Yeah.
Creo que casi no hace falta que lo diga, pero ese correlato entre lo que pesaban las regulaciones tenía otro correlato en otro tipo de papeles, digamos,
Oh
a
yeah,
veces
corruption.
verdes y a veces
What?
He's talking about corruption. He's saying there is a correlation between how much paper weight and
Yeah.
how much the other paper weight, and that paper sometimes was green, talking about dollars, because famously in Argentina, all bribes are paid in dollars.
Of course.
europeos porque entran más en el mismo peso.
Yeah.
Gracias a ello logramos desregular 30 mercados que hoy son más libres, como por ejemplo el transporte aerocomercial, que el mes pasado tuvo un récord histórico, con más de 4,5 millones de pasajeros transportados, superando en demasía el anterior registro que fue en el año 2019, la revolución de los aviones, pero recargada. Quizás el ejemplo más, gracias a que eliminamos la ley infame y difunta ley de alquileres, se multiplicaron exponencialmente los alquileres publicados y el costo del alquiler bajó hasta un 30% en términos reales.
What happened there? Yeah.
All our friends in New York City right now,
Yes.
I have news for you. I am a prophet from the future, and I bring you what's going to happen.
Yes.
The Democrats have been pushing for rent control in New York City, haven't they?
Yes, they are. Because they're stupid.
We used to have that in Argentina.
Yes.
And you couldn't find anyone to rent. And I'm going to explain to you in a minute. But what's going to happen, basically in New York, is that you will never be able to find some place to rent. All those buildings are going to become liabilities. They're going to be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and it's going to be a cheap buy.
Yeah.
And they are going to turn them down and build new buildings back up, and the rich are going to become richer, and people are going to own less. They're going to own nothing and be happy because they never knew you could rent in New York City. And let me tell you something, fellas. It doesn't work. You're going to have less opportunities for work. You're going to have less social life. You're going to have less economy, much less culture, or whatever system you defend. Nothing is going to be left of New York City. It's going to be a wasteland. That's what happens with rent control. We had that in Buenos Aires, and it was complete mess. You couldn't rent a place for shit. You couldn't find anywhere to rent, actually. And if you found something to rent, it was so expensive. It was basically your entire monthly salary. Sometimes people used to go into debt to pay their rent. So that is what happens when you put rent control. And that is what's going to happen if that communist guy or the what's the name of the Latina, the crazy eye Latina girl, AOC,
Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez is in Congress. Look, I know this. My audience knows this. New Yorkers are going to do it anyway, and because they won't learn. I mean,
you're going to have a huge.
New York is a lost cause. The only city that's a bigger lost cause in America is San Francisco. There is no hope. Just leave New York and let it rot.
You know, I'm a huge gambling addict. You know, so I'm gonna make a bet with you. The Red Scare, so the communist scare in New York, is gonna be so big that both California and New York, there's gonna be a huge uptick of Republican voters. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win, because winning is an entirely different thing. I think Donald Trump himself would have to come down from heaven and change and tell people how to vote in Europe in order to change it. But still, you guys need another Republican governor in New York.
Not going to happen. Anyway.
En materia de capital humano, eliminamos el curro de los gerentes de la pobreza, quitándole el poder de extorsión a un grupo de piqueteros sinvergüenzas que obligaban a los más necesitados a marchar por sus propias causas bajo amenaza de robarles la asistencia social. Gracias a esto logramos bajar la cantidad de piquetes en la calle y rutas de más de 8.200 a cero. Sí, escucharon bien, en 2023 tuvimos más de 30 piquetes por día hábil y ahora hace más de 10 meses que no hay un solo piquete en la calle de todo el país.
Piquete,
What?
you know when do you remember 2011, the Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street movement?
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah, piquetes are basically that. Hundreds of people go out on the street and they blockade parts of the city, or they blockade
Yes.
big avenues in order
Yeah.
to call attention to a certain subject. In
Yes.
2023, it was so rampant
Yeah.
that we had 8,200 blockades like that
Yeah.
in Buenos Aires. Basically, it meant 30 blockades every working day of the week. So you imagine that is very disruptive for everyone, because you cannot go to work, you cannot go back home, you cannot go buy groceries, you cannot go visit friends, you cannot go to a cafe, you cannot do anything at all because it's always blockaded. Since Milei took office, we managed to put that down to zero. Zero.
Yes.
How? And I'm going to tell you
By
how.
arresting them and finding the organizations who run them.
By getting the police involved, removing people from the premises, and jailing the people that are behind those terrorist attacks on people.
Let's stress that these people were on the streets, not on the. There are many public squares in Argentina where you can go protest without disrupting traffic, including that nice the Plaza de Mayo right in front of Casa Rosada.
I'm gonna tell you like a little tidbit of information about Buenos Aires.
Yes.
When Buenos Aires was planned, it was planned in a 4x4 grid.
Yeah.
What is the 4x4 grid? It means 4 streets, and the fourth and the first are avenues, meaning big avenues, and the other 2 were small streets. And every 4x4, so meaning 4 avenues by 4 avenues, you had a square in the middle, meaning there are thousands and thousands of public places and public squares in Buenos Aires. There are thousands of trees. There is a goddamn biological reserve.
Oh yes.
In Buenos Aires, there's wildlife in Buenos Aires. So basically, you have every place to go and protest. But people didn't like that. They wanted to go to the main avenues, locate the main avenues, 30 of them every day, in order to extract and extort money from the government for political causes.
Yes.
So basically, lying, cheating, and stealing money from the coffers of the state in order to push and for them to get that money for themselves. Basically, they would gather 30, 50, 100, 150,000 of people sometimes, and they would blockade it, and they would demand get money, and then they would pay the people that came to that blockade. And that's how, and there was a huge industry for it. It was amazing in and of itself. Like it was a bizarre thing to watch. To be honest, I used to for fun go to this, and I would look at the people. Like, what the hell are they doing? It's actually fun, once you get to know them.
En materia de seguridad nacional, bajo el liderazgo de la doctora Bullrich, durante el 2024 vimos el índice de homicidio más bajo de los últimos 25 años, habiéndolo bajado 11 puntos en comparación a 2023, es decir, que tuvimos el índice de homicidios más bajo de Sudamérica. En Rosario, una ciudad que estaba completamente atormentada por el narcotráfico, gracias al Plan Bandera encabezado por la ministra, vimos el índice de criminalidad más bajo desde 2006, con menos de 100 crímenes registrados. En definitiva, gracias, ministra Bullrich, por devolvernos el orden y la paz y la seguridad a los argentinos de bien, para que sea un infierno para los delincuentes.
Standing for Bullrich, oh my goodness. I think she's loving it.
También aprobamos los proyectos de reiterancia y reincidencia, junto a la ley antimafias, para fortalecer un principio universal que durante tanto tiempo estuvo olvidado en estas tierras. El que las hace, las paga. En materia judicial, implementamos el sistema acusatorio en 12 provincias, la mitad del país, que permitió lograr condenar por narcotráfico en tan solo un mes cuando antes tardaban más de 3 años. A su vez, estamos impulsando el juicio por jurados, una de las reformas que nos debíamos desde la fundación del país para que la vida, la libertad y la propiedad de los argentinos dependan en última instancia de la decisión de sus conciudadanos y no de un juez, eliminando así el último vestigio de poder monárquico en la justicia. En lo que requiere a defensa, estamos reequipando y jerarquizando nuestras Fuerzas Armadas nuevamente después de décadas de olvido y de desprecio hacia ellos. Tan solo esta semana llegó el primero de los 24 F-16 que compró nuestra administración, la adquisición de armamentos más importante de los últimos 40 años. En política exterior, pasamos de ser un hazmerreír a nivel global, aliado de los países con peor performance del concierto de las naciones, como Cuba y Venezuela, a ser un protagonista inesperado. Hoy, producto de nuestra ambiciosa política económica y de nuestras posiciones férreas en política exterior, los ojos del mundo se posan sobre la Argentina después de mucho tiempo y en algunos casos incluso toman nota del trabajo que hemos hecho para aplicarlo en sus propios países, como está haciendo Elon Musk al frente de la cartera de regulación de los Estados Unidos.
Yeah.
No es menor lo de Elon con la motosierra. La motosierra hoy es un símbolo de cambio de época y el inicio de una nueva era dorada para la humanidad.
What?
Look at Martin Menem's water jug in the background.
Oh, yes. He's emptied it.
I just imagine Milei was talking for an hour and 30 something minutes. He must have needed to go tinkle at some point.
Who knows?
Pero esta vez, en vez de ir a contramano del mundo, Argentina está a la vanguardia del mundo. Creo que, haciendo este breve repaso de los miles de cosas que han cambiado en el último año, podemos afirmar de manera inapelable que el estado de la nación es hoy mucho más prometedor que el que teníamos hace un año. Durante la campaña presidencial, invitamos a todos los argentinos a juzgarnos por nuestras ideas. Hoy, habiendo transitado poco más de nuestro primer año, lo invitamos a juzgarnos nuevamente, pero esta vez por nuestros resultados.
Judge us not by who we are, but are the result of our labor.
Yep. Yeah, I like it when he goes into that growly voice. He doesn't always do it, but he definitely does it for effect.
Yeah, and you see the woman on the corner doing the sign
Sign
language.
language.
She gets even more frantic whenever.
I can imagine what might be fun to interview one of them, see how they like doing the sign language. Yeah, I bet that's an experience.
I bet it would
Sometimes
be
I've
interesting. Yeah.
also sometimes noticed during the speeches they change interpreters halfway through. It's kind of weird.
Oh yeah, definitely for Millet. They get tired. So much screaming. So much like they are
Yeah,
screaming when someone screams in sign language. They just do it more vehemently. They
yeah,
just shake their arms more rapidly. So they must get tired at some point.
yeah.
Esto es sumamente importante porque si la resignación argentina es producto de las promesas incumplidas, su redención dependerá de que cumplamos nuestra palabra y lo vamos a hacer a rajatabla. En un relevamiento realizado por el secretario de Comunicación, nuestro vocero, el gran Manuel Adorni, hemos concluido que en nuestro primer año de gestión, es decir, 25% del tiempo de nuestro mandato, ya hemos cumplido o estamos cumpliendo más del 75% de nuestras promesas, algo inédito en la historia argentina.
Definitely.
Es más, quiero hacer una nota al pie de página sobre esta afirmación, porque no es que estamos cumpliendo porque nuestro programa fuera un programa poco ambicioso. Durante toda la campaña tuvimos el acoso y el hostigamiento que decían que todo lo que proponíamos era imposible.
Yeah.
Era súper ambicioso. Nadie creía que podíamos lograr lo que estamos logrando. Y en ese sentido, no solo estamos haciendo cosas que prometimos en campaña, sino que además estamos haciendo muchísimas más cosas que las que prometimos en campaña. Y cuando uno hace esta corrección, llevamos cumplido el 97% de las promesas de campaña en solo un año.
You perfectly said that.
97% of the campaign promises. Yeah,
But yeah, more or less, like closer to 75, 78, 80%. But still, that's a lot for a politician.
okay,
He's thinking that you need to take into account how dirty
I
the
can.
campaign
Yes,
was, and how much they lied about him and all that.
I
Because it is very important to note it was the dirtiest campaign in Argentine history. There was
I can imagine. Yeah.
every horrible thing that could be said about him was said.
Oh yeah.
Every dirty thing that could be said about Millet was said, and everything wrong that could be done to
Yes.
Millet was done. It
Yeah. And
was
now, yeah.
definitely one of the most horrible things that we had ever seen, and more visceral and brutal than in politics. We even had people being assaulted on the streets. So
Oh
it was violent. It was the dirtiest campaign ever done to a candidate in the Argentine history,
yeah.
and
And since
he
yeah,
came out on top. We came
and
out on
since
top.
we're here, mom is on the left, dad is on the right. Who are
Yeah,
the you know who the other three people are? Is that family or what?
I have. Oh yeah, well,
But that's his mom and that's his dad
yes,
on the left and on the right. Yeah,
yeah. On the
in
middle,
front.
there's politicians. On the middle, there's politicians, friends of the family. On the background, and I wouldn't know the names of everyone.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, it's going to be impossible to get everybody. You can just imagine what is Dad thinking. That's it.
well,
My boy's
they were
president.
strange. You know that
Yeah,
Milei's father, senior and junior, they were estranged for many
yeah,
years,
yeah.
because the father never approved of him becoming an economist, and then he never approved of him going on TV, and never approved of him going into politics, and never
Wow.
approved of him, and they were estranged for a long time, and the only contact he had was with his sister. His sister Karina was the one that was always there supporting him.
Yeah.
And through all that, they managed to do one of the most amazing things that a family
Yeah.
could have the children aspire to, and he won. And so I think there was a huge redemption arc for them at the end when they got together, they ate, they made peace with one another. Of course, he doesn't approve of Milei becoming Jewish. That's another thing, but
Yeah.
still huge. And now they're. I think they talk. Last time they asked him about it because
Yeah.
the press seems to want to listen to ask about Milei's dogs instead of his family. You know, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. They're always trying to focus on weird stuff, but
Yeah.
he loves his dogs, so yeah.
Y es por ello que quiero hacer un alto en el discurso, porque en la vida hay que ser agradecido y no hay que ser mezquino. Y quiero agradecer a cada uno de mis ministros por la enorme labor que han hecho cada uno de ellos durante este año. Quiero dar las gracias al doctor Guillermo Francos, a Toto Caputo, a Santiago Bausili, a Patricia Bullrich, a Sandra Petovelo, a
Who
Federico.
is Santiago Balsili?
I think health.
Okay, that's good. He's always thanking everybody. I mean, I love this. He's really
Yeah.
putting the spotlight on everybody else.
Federico Sturzenegger,
Liberona.
a Luis Petri, a Mariano
Yeah.
Cuneo Libarona,
There
a
we go.
Mario Lugo.
Mariano Cuero Lavada Lugones,
No,
yes.
no, it's a misspelling. No, no. Es Cuneo
A Gerardo
Libarona.
What is it?
It's Mariano Cuneo Libarona.
Cuneo Librona, yeah. Gerardo
Huerten, a Manuel Adorni,
Manuel Adoni, yeah. Now, Werthen is the one who replaced Mondino.
Yes. In the
Yeah,
PCJ,
y Karina Milei
basically the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
yeah, exactly.
por permitirme liderar el mejor gobierno de la historia argentina.
The best
Yeah.
government in the history of Argentina. Let's get pumped. Everybody's standing, getting
Yeah.
louder. Wow, he plays the crowd like a musical instrument. I've said it many times. Hey, there's Bertie Benegas Lynch.
Yeah.
I've met
Junior.
him.
Venegas
Yeah, I've
Lynch
met him.
Jr.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's yeah. I've met him in person. I've heard him speak.
Interesting fellow.
Yeah, they're very that family is very much a part of all of this.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it is so not common, uncommon,
yeah,
to have your name be a part of the history of something.
yeah,
And Benegas Lynch Sr., he
yeah,
is the one that created the definition of libertarianism,
yeah,
something that you Americans don't have. And that's why libertarianism cannot bring traction because you don't have something to define you.
yeah. Our biggest issue is we don't have guys like Milei. I mean, there isn't a single American libertarians the way they speak and show up like this. They just don't do it.
I think you have a different kind of people, and I think the Libertarian Party would do well to incorporate the libertarian tradition from Argentina.
Yeah,
And what I mean by that is the literature that sometimes ends up falling off the ship during the trip to the United States.
yeah.
Um,
But all of our
thinking again, I dare you to find a libertarian that can define libertarianism in the United States.
maybe so. The main problem is that we all got guys like who come off like Massa or
What's Aleppo?
Así, Antes de nosotros, gracias al modelo empobrecedor de la casta, la Argentina estaba rendida. Era un pordiosero pidiendo limosna al que nadie quería darle ni 3 centavos. Y cada argentino vivía en la angustia permanente de que el valor de su dinero se le fumara de la mano. Hoy, a todas luces, estamos viviendo una nueva realidad, bien distinta a la que veníamos hace un año. La estabilidad económica que estamos conquistando no significa que hemos llegado a puerto, pero sí que estamos cada día un poco mejor, como ya se viene comprobando con la sostenida recuperación salarial de los últimos 9 meses. Tampoco significa que no vaya a haber volatilidad. La vida no funciona de esa manera, no es un movimiento rectilíneo y uniforme. Siempre hay altos y bajos, momentos de tensión y momentos de tranquilidad. Así ha ocurrido con el proceso de desinflación y así ocurrirá con el proceso de crecimiento. Pero lo que importa no es una foto, sino la tendencia. Y de la misma forma que la inflación tenderá a cero, el PBI per cápita tenderá a crecer de modo sostenido en el tiempo.
Yep.
Aquí quiero mencionar un trabajo de un colega economista, que se llama Juan Pablo Nicolini, que es de la Universidad de Itela y que además trabaja en la Reserva Federal, y en un trabajo que hizo sobre política fiscal y crecimiento económico, demuestra que alcanzar el equilibrio en la línea financiera, como lo hace Argentina, implica que Argentina tiene por delante una tasa de crecimiento sostenido del PBI per cápita del 4,5%. Y a eso hay que agregarle algunas cuestiones adicionales porque el trabajo no hace diferenciación entre lo que es la caída del riesgo país, que lo recibimos cerca de 3.000 puntos básicos y hoy está rondando en los 750. Tampoco habla que el equilibrio alcanzado fue hecho en base a reducir impuestos, bajar el gasto público y no como se hacía antes los ajustes aumentando la presión impositiva. Tampoco contempla la enorme cantidad de reformas estructurales que hemos hecho. Solo el DNU 7023 y la ley Bases representan una reforma estructural 8 veces más grande que la reforma que hizo Carlos Menem cuando fue el mejor gobierno de la historia hasta ahora.
So you thought Menem's government was the best government in history until then?
No, no. Menem's government was the best economic policy government to that day. Then the reforms that Menem did were very important at the time. Do you remember when I talked about the convertibilidad, the parity between the dollar and the peso?
Yeah.
That was his plan. That was his administration. He was a very smart politician. He had to win an election within the party in order to be the candidate. And when he won, he then appointed as Minister of Economy the guy that lost against him.
Yeah.
Domingo Cavallo. That was the name of the guy, Domingo Cavallo. And so he was a very smart politician, and he managed to pass thousands and thousands of reforms. And he was very libertarian-ish. He definitely was pro markets. He definitely was pro freedom of the individual and all that. But he never managed to maintain the.
Yeah, definitely pro individual freedom.
He never managed to maintain the deficit spending to zero, and so that was the failure of his policies. Still, and of course there were a lot of things in foreign policy that were very much dirty, not well regarded in that aspect. He was very much shrouded in corruption scandals.
Yeah, something seems to be happening with my connection. Yeah, we
So
still got.
basically,
Yeah.
he was a very complicated figure in Argentine history, from corruption scandals to foreign affairs scandals but he was also very popular, very charismatic, and he managed to do the biggest reform in Argentine history, which was very pro market and very pro individual
Yeah.
freedom. And so, economically speaking, it was probably one of the most successful governments in the history of Argentina.
Yeah.
And so Millet is referencing that his reforms are 8 times bigger than the reforms that Menem did in the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go. We still got 40 minutes to go. We'll keep going.
Imagínense si además sumamos las 900 regulaciones que Federico Sturzenegger eliminó en el camino, si sumamos el RIGI y si asumimos también, digamos, que estamos terminando con la distorsión que
Who's
genera.
that with Lilia? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
Who's the lady in the red and the kind of maroon shirt with Lilia on the left?
On the left.
If you don't know who it is, that's fine.
La inflación.
There are 1,000 women with. There
Pero
are two.
Roma no se
I see
construyó en un
one,
día.
two, three, four women with red in red.
Y la realidad es que lo que he hecho hasta ahora es apenas una pequeña muestra de lo que el país necesita para curarse de forma definitiva. Para lograr ese objetivo necesitamos tener un modelo sustentable en el tiempo, un ordenamiento jurídico que proteja el fruto del esfuerzo de cada argentino y un modelo institucional acorde al país con ambición de grandeza. Por eso necesitamos seguir llevando a cabo innumerable cantidad de reformas de fondo. El único camino para reconstruir la Argentina es el del reformismo permanente. Al año pasado lo bautizamos el año de la defensa de la vida, la propiedad y la libertad, porque fue el año en el cual le dijimos basta al modelo de la casta política y dimos los primeros pasos en la dirección del modelo de la libertad. Este año será el año de la reconstrucción de la Argentina. Ya sentadas las bases, debemos empezar a reconstruir los cimientos de nuestra gran nación, pero nada de todo eso será posible si no avanzamos en atacar los problemas estructurales del país. Nuestros equipos están trabajando en más de una docena de leyes de fondo, es decir, que ponen los cimientos sobre los que debe construirse este nuevo edificio. Estos proyectos atacan desde cuestiones económicas hasta cuestiones administrativas del Estado, financieras, penales, civiles, cuestiones vinculadas a la seguridad nacional, nuestro sistema de inteligencia, cuestiones vinculadas al comercio, a la propiedad privada y una serie de temas estructurales que hacen del diseño institucional de un país que debe pensar en grande. Hoy quiero aprovechar para mencionar algunas sobre las que estamos trabajando. En función de la predisposición de este Congreso, de la dinámica de la campaña electoral que comienza en breve y de la secuencialidad económica necesaria, estas reformas podrán ser abordadas o bien durante este periodo legislativo o las abordaremos a partir del 11 de diciembre de este mismo año.
Yeah, there's Bernie Bananas legs right there.
Imagino que esta zona se va a poner un poquito más violeta.
He's always looking for that, you know.
Yeah. What was that joke?
He was pointing at all those empty seats and he said, I'm imagining this whole area is going to get a little bit more violent. He's referencing, of course, whenever the left is not in power, it's always trying to get power by violent means. It becomes violent, it goes out on the street, it riots, it burns stuff, it steals. It's a common practice of the totalitarian terroristic left to make life for the right impossible. They do not abide by democratic standards, and therefore, whenever they are not in power, they terrorize everyone else. And so, when he said that, there are two meanings. Basically, he's saying, I am the representatives on this area of Congress are going to get more violent in the sense that they're going to get more agitated and more outspoken. But he's also referencing the fact that he is not afraid of them going on the streets and burning stuff up because he's going to catch him in the act and he's going to stop them, as he has proven before. And so
Yes.
it was the double meaning of it, of saying, hey, I'm not scared, try your best, I'm going to stop you, kind of way.
Yep.
Sí. Y decanta. Si queremos verdaderamente ser una potencia, la primera asignatura sobre la que debemos avanzar es en desterrar la inflación para siempre, que ya no dependa de que venga una persona con la convicción de hacer lo correcto, sino en convertir en ley una verdad incuestionable de la economía argentina. El déficit fiscal es la madre de todos los males de la historia del país. De las 22 crisis que se registraron desde el inicio del siglo XX, 20 tienen origen fiscal, el cual ha oscilado entre alto y extravagantemente alto, lo cual a la postre se ha traducido en endeudamiento con su posterior default, en financiamiento con emisión monetaria, que derivó en inflación e hiperinflación, o aumentos de impuestos que ahogaron el crecimiento mientras cercenaban la libertad económica e individual. En consecuencia,
Is the
debemos
video
transformar en
playing?
obligatorio el equilibrio fiscal para
What?
cualquier presupuesto
I hear
estatal,
what my leader
sea
has to
nacional o
say.
Yeah.
He
subnacional,
whispers into
pero no
my
alcanza
ears
con el
with nothings and everythings.
equilibrio fiscal. Es necesario acompañarlo con una reducción severa del gasto público para devolverle a la sociedad lo que hoy el Estado le confisca vía impuestos. Por eso debemos establecer también una meta fiscal para que en el 2027 el gasto público consolidado de Argentina sea de 25 puntos del PBI como máximo, tal como nos comprometimos todos en el Pacto de Mayo, donde tanto el Estado Nacional como las provincias y los municipios tendrán que cumplir su parte. Porque cuanto menor sea el tamaño del Estado, habrá mayor libertad económica, mayor crecimiento económico, mayor ingreso per cápita y, por ende, menos pobres en la Argentina. Es decir, el verdadero trade-off es entre si estamos dispuestos a aceptar más gasto público para tener más pobres. Yo prefiero achicar el Estado y que haya menos pobres en la Argentina.
There we go.
He talked about the Pact of May, and then he talked about shrinking the state. He's really getting pumped. He's really getting pumped. But now he's talking about his plans more than praising everybody else. Okay, there. You see Lilia right down here, and there's that woman in the red shirt, maroon
Yes.
shirt.
Yes.
You know who that is?
I think it's Celeste.
Who?
Celeste. I'm gonna
Celeste.
find him.
Okay, well, yeah. I just wondered, does Lily always wear ties like that? That's
no. She has different.
yeah. Everybody's got a look, I guess. So, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going here. So, we're getting close. We got 34 minutes left.
Es necesario seguir pasando la motosierra profunda
María Celeste.
para remover
Maria
tapas
Celeste?
geológicas.
I'm gonna send you her X account.
Oh yeah, thanks. I may be following already. I've followed tons of people down there on Twitter.
There we go. Sent.
Yep.
De gasto injustificado y achicar el Estado en serio. La motosierra no es solo un programa de gobierno, es una política de Estado que seguirá durante años y no parará hasta que no encuentre el final del Estado en el largo plazo.
Yeah.
The man with the chainsaw.
The chainsaw is never gonna stop until it finds the end of government in the future.
Yeah, that's about it.
Damn, I love this guy. Oh God.
Yes, the chainsaw will never stop.
Hay que revisar área por área del Estado y ninguna es más importante que privatizar las empresas públicas, porque aunque hoy sean superioritarias por primera vez después de 15 años, no dejan de ser una carga para el sector privado. Si bien la Ley Bases y el DNU 7023 incluyeron elementos fundamentales para dar los primeros pasos en reformar el mundo del trabajo, necesitamos profundizar este camino. El régimen laboral que impera desde hace 50 años quedó completamente obsoleto y hoy lo único que hace es proteger con beneficios a las pocas personas que van quedando en el sector formal mientras expulsa cada año a millones a la informalidad. Este es el principal motivo por el que el empleo privado formal no crece desde hace casi 15 años.
He's referring to the basis law and the Pact of May. Very interesting.
Well, the Pact of May was a great tool in order to get all governors in the same place at the same time for a set number of hours in order to negotiate. He's one of Milei was very smart about it. He sat everyone down at one table. Like he didn't go through intermediaries, and he didn't call one guy and then the other and then another and then back and forth and whatnot. No, no, no. He sat them all down, one table. We're figuring this shit out, and that's what he did. And the Pact of May was very successful at the time, although it was not in May. It was still very successful, and it proved a good tool at the time to further the government's, the administration's objectives. Although no one talks about it
Oh,
anymore,
yes.
it's gonna remain down in history as a very successful political maneuver in order to bypass Congress in order to get reforms done.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
En este sentido, solo con un mercado laboral dinámico que genere empleo formal podremos aspirar a tener el sistema previsional sustentable que décadas de desmanejo arruinaron. También es imperativo llevar a cabo una reforma impositiva estructural para así reducir en un 90% la cantidad de impuestos nacionales y pasar a tener únicamente 6 impuestos, terminando con el infierno logístico que implica tributar en Argentina. Sumado a eso, el espíritu de la reforma en la que estamos trabajando es brindarle autonomía fiscal a las provincias en los impuestos que hoy recauda el Estado Nacional en su nombre. De este modo, el Estado Nacional establecerá un piso mínimo para cada impuesto sustancialmente inferior al total actual y luego las provincias podrán elevarlo a su criterio, lo que indudablemente generará una competencia fiscal entre las provincias que dinamizará así sus economías. Del mismo modo, necesitamos devolverle a los argentinos la libertad de comerciar con quienes deseen, para que bienes y servicios ingresen al mercado local y así cada uno pueda comprar libremente productos de mejor calidad a mejor precio. Durante décadas, bajo la premisa de proteger un puñado de puestos de trabajo, se le encareció deliberadamente el costo de vida a millones de argentinos, en muchos casos forzándolos incluso a adquirir bienes de dudosa calidad a precios completamente distorsionados. No es justo que solo quienes pueden pagarse un viaje al exterior puedan comprar lo que deseen a precio internacional. Tiene que ser para todos. Abrir los mercados también le abrirá las puertas del mundo a las empresas argentinas para que puedan salir a vender nuestros productos a 8.000 millones de personas en un contexto internacional donde lo que la Argentina tiene para ofrecer será muy requerido. También
Not sure what they're clapping for here, but they're clapping.
They're talking about what's going to happen in the deregulations. That's why they screamed "Vamos Federico" as in Federico Sturzenegger.
Yep.
También quiero acá terminar con otra falacia con la que nos han estado mintiendo por casi 100 años y que es el tema de la industria infante, un infante que por lo menos tiene 90 años ya, o digamos de proteger la industria X porque genera puestos de trabajo. Esa también es otra mentira. Porque si en el proceso de apertura de la economía ingresa un producto de mejor calidad, a un mejor precio y quiebra una empresa, también es cierto que los consumidores ahora tienen más dinero en su bolsillo y los pueden gastar en otros sectores de la economía. Por lo tanto, digamos, se reasignará el empleo y irá a sectores donde es más productivo y donde hay mayores salarios y por ende hay mayor bienestar para todos. Por lo tanto, basta de la mentira proteccionista, porque en el fondo no es ni más ni menos que un curro entre los políticos y los empresarios prebendarios.
Protectionism is a still it's a con between politicians and business and corrupt businessmen.
Yes. Calling out corporate welfare. Thank you.
Yeah, straight up is it.
El primer paso en este sendero es la oportunidad histórica que tenemos para entablar un acuerdo comercial con Estados Unidos. Una oportunidad que ya se nos
Oh,
presentó hace
that was
20
signed a
años
couple of weeks
y
ago.
dejamos
We
pasar,
got, I think,
desaprovechando.
80% of Argentinian exports have no taxes on American soil.
And hopefully they still have the export taxes though, where you're getting taxed to send shit out, as far as I know. But anyway,
No,
yeah,
we got
that's
like
good.
after this agreement is ratified. I think there are some stuff from the United States that are gonna be cheaper, like cars and stuff like that,
Yeah,
like car parts and stuff like that, because Argentina's got a good industrial base. So maybe we're gonna import car parts.
who knows? I won't be surprised if Elon comes down there and eventually builds something.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's talked about doing that. Yeah. Well, Argentina has INBAP. I don't know if if you know that company. It's the most important aerospatial
Oh yeah,
company in 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 America, the entire continent outside of the United States. The only competition to INBAP is basically, I
yeah,
think, three companies in the United States. I think it's
yeah.
Blue Sky, Boeing, and the one from Elon, SpaceX. Those are the only competition that INBAP has. They launch
SpaceX is
satellites.
Elon's company, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Boeing's into a lot of things.
yeah, but INBAP is also into nuclear energy. It's
Yeah.
basically one of the few companies that remain that create technology. Basically, they also make modular nuclear power plants. The power plants which are modular, meaning you can expand them. It's
Yes.
amazing. And they also create
Yeah.
hydro power plants. When you build a dam, to
Oh
create
yeah.
energy. And they also do satellites, as I said, fiber optic technology, and
Mhm. Yep.
they've been starting with AI a couple of months ago, but they
Okay.
needed investment for that because it's apparently quite expensive to create an AI.
Yes, it is.
And so, yeah,
Último gran boom de
Yeah.
crecimiento que vio el planeta. Pero para aprovechar esta oportunidad histórica que se nos vuelve a presentar, es necesario estar dispuesto a flexibilizar o incluso, llegando el caso, a salir del Mercosur, que lo único que logró desde su creación es enriquecer a los grandes industriales brasileros a costa de empobrecer a los argentinos.
yeah. He called that corporate greed again. He said, since the Mercosur was created, only the same wealthy people got richer and everyone else got poorer because
Pero
all
hace
the industry moved to Brazil, where all these wealthy people were there. Bear in mind, all these people used to live in Argentina in the 90s and then moved to Brazil in the 2000s after the crisis. And so they're all Argentina owned companies, and Milei is calling them out.
That's great.
falta ir aún más profundo, restableciendo la inviolabilidad de la propiedad privada, para lo cual hace falta descender al subsuelo de las leyes, los códigos civil y comercial y procesal civil y comercial. Urge devolverle la libertad de asociación a todos los argentinos, reduciendo las prerrogativas de Estado y aumentando las de cada ciudadano. Es inadmisible que los individuos no tengan derecho a pactar acuerdos libremente entre sí sin la intromisión de cualquier juez de poca monta, cuyo capricho a menudo está aparejado de ataduras políticas o económicas.
Yeah.
Aquí es donde se juega la famosa seguridad jurídica por la cual la política reclama hace años, pero por la que nunca hizo nada. Esto se resuelve con un código civil y comercial claro e impermeable a la interpretación maliciosa de cualquier juzgado. Además, el orden público y la vida social en paz deben volver a ser la regla y no la excepción en la Argentina. Actualmente tenemos un sistema judicial y un código penal repleto de grietas por los que se coló el virus de antipunitivismo, que además de estar moralmente mal, trepitoso fracaso.
Anti-punitivism, what's that?
There is do you know what critical law
Punitivism.
theory is?
What? No, I'm not sure.
It, Frankfurt School of Thought.
Frankfurt School? Oh my God, yes.
Well,
Yeah,
Frankfurt
they're
School is
communists.
the origin. Frankfurt
It's
School is the
everything.
first is the first like Marxist progressive
Yeah,
school of thought, and from the Frankfurt School of Thought comes what we call critical theory. And
yes,
critical theory has subsets, and those subsets are critical race theory, critical gender theory, critical law theory, and critical and a couple of more actually. And the history of oppression and all
yeah.
that, and the
Critical law theory is this belief that nobody's a
critical
crook,
history theory
nobody's a
and all,
criminal.
yeah, yeah, basically critical law theory is the garantism system, and it is happening in the United States actually. Basically judges do not imprison criminals because they say that those criminals are a victim of society.
Yes,
They dispossess the individual from their basically holy right to self-determination and freedom of will, free will. And they
yes,
say, no, 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 everything that happened to you, everything that you did is because society failed you, because you're a victim of society, and therefore you should not go to jail.
yes.
And so that is happening in the United States. That's been happening in Argentina since the 80s. And so we've had rampant crime, and Milei
Oh
has
yeah,
come to kind of end this. And anti-punitivism is a subset, is an aspect of it. It's
okay,
a, he calls it the virus of anti-punitivism, but it's actually
yeah,
a more deeper thing because it means that judges will not condemn an individual that has committed a crime. Rapists
yes,
don't go to jail. Pedophiles are not
yes,
executed. So there are a lot of things that are wrong with this system.
yeah,
And bear in mind, I am against the death penalty because the government is corrupt. But
yeah,
we will never be sure entirely unless we have like so much evidence that
yes,
is so much beyond reasonable doubt that is
yeah,
it's beyond certainty. You need to make, you need to give me so much evidence that it is beyond certainty that someone deserves a death penalty. And
yeah.
so, but still, there are certain things that at least you should go to jail, and they don't. And
Well,
so that is something that Milei and Cunio Liberona have been fighting tooth and nail.
yeah, but of course they will. Of course, if a woman stabs her rapist with a knife, they will prosecute them for that.
Oh, definitely, because the victim is actually the victimary. Because denying a man of sex is a bourgeois oppression tool.
Yeah, it's so sick, and I can't believe it still survives.
Yeah.
Lo vimos esta semana en la trágica de Kim Gómez, una nena de tan solo 7 años que fue brutalmente asesinada.
Oh yeah.
Now I know Kim Gomez was the case of a girl who was in a car and was trying to escape the car, and the thieves drug her. She was like still being dragged by the car.
They dragged her alive on the street
Yeah.
and they killed
Of
her.
course, by the time it
And
was all done, she was no longer
one of
alive.
the one of the criminals was, I think, 14, 15 years old, and the
Yeah,
other one was of age, and they're not in jail yet. They should be in jail by now,
yeah,
but they're not. That was just a travesty. It was
yeah.
horrible,
I mean,
horrible, beyond like it's a huge. At this point, every single judge that does not put a criminal in jail should be tried for human rights
oh
violations,
yeah,
because it's a horrible thing to say and a horrible thing to do, to deny people of the right to
Yeah.
to to the very safety, or at least to the very justice of the death of the children. It's horrible, horrible, and it's still
Yeah.
ongoing.
I will say one thing: the way an 18-year-old can run, I would certainly give a lot more to the 18-year-old. But yeah, you've got a problem with youth crime there too. It still seems. Uh, yeah. So let's go.
Well,
Quiero expresar mis condolencias.
I'm sorry. It's because criminals would indoctrinate their children into doing
Yeah.
crimes because they won't go to jail, because, or if they go to jail, they go for much less time.
Yeah.
So at this point, it became kind of like a profession or of sorts. The father teaches his child how to do crime, how to steal cars, how to be a horrible human being in general, and yeah, and the police do nothing, and then everyone cries when a police is under fire and shoots back at some thug, and then we realize that thug was 13 years old. That's horrible. And it's going to happen in the United States. It's going to happen in California. Definitely. You're importing a lot of people from South America that are like that. What,
Uh,
you think people that just because they cross the border are going to suddenly become magical beings of light and goodness? No. They're going to be just like they were on this side, on the other side of the border. Doesn't change a damn thing.
you
Anyways,
never know though, because of all those Venezuelans who love Milei.
no. No, because the Venezuelans that went to the United States, they came out of the jails.
But the Venezuelans who go to there are a lot of Venezuelans in Argentina who love Milei though.
Well, yes, yes, but that's a different thing, because the Venezuelans that came to Argentina sometimes, well, most of the times, had to pay a plane ticket to Argentina, and they had
Oh yeah.
different resources and different educational backgrounds.
Hmm.
Then again, although the majority of the Venezuelans that came to Argentina are against the regime of the
Yes.
dictator Maduro, the Venezuelans that went to Argentina, to the United States, are not that right wing. They are very much in favor of socialism. Many of the people that go to the United States do not know enough about economics or politics in order to vote differently than they voted at home.
That's possibly true, but I also know a guy. I also know a guy who's helped a lot of people get out of Venezuela, and they do not like Maduro at all. So, yeah.
Para con su familia y asegurarles que tienen el compromiso de este presidente para luchar incansablemente contra el flagelo de la inseguridad.
I think at the end of this speech, he mentions the Venezuelans. And yeah, you're right. Many of the Venezuelans, the majority, the absolute majority of the people from Venezuela that came to Argentina are against the regime. And I'm friends with many of them. And they have horrible things to tell. I know people that have been detained and tortured in the Helicoide um, clandestine center in Caracas. It's horrible horror stories that they got to
Yeah.
tell, and left wingers in the United States would do well to hear the warnings of these people.
The left wingers to completely and totally ignore them. Telling them anything is a complete waste of time, and it's been that way for 100 years. Yeah, when 90 years ago Ayn Rand arrived on American soil from the Soviet Union, the left wingers. I mean, I don't know. We just need a place to put all. We just need to encourage all the left wingers to move to Venezuela or whatever. There is no hope for them at all. They are a lost cause. They are irredeemable. They cannot be educated.
Well, you said it, not me.
I was 18 years old when the Berlin Wall came down.
Hmm.
We're still dealing with this now. We didn't ever dream we would still be dealing with this now.
There was a bishop that said,
Yeah.
I think it was a bishop from the United States that said that when the Berlin Wall fell, the Soviet Union was not defeated, but when the Berlin Wall fell, the dike that was stopping communism broke, and it would infect all other countries in the Western world.
Yeah. You might as well try to argue with a cocaine addict about his cocaine addiction.
Well,
There's no point.
well, there is a way. actually. We found here in Argentina that humiliation is a very powerful tool. When you make when you make them realize that they're not popular, that uh, they're not seen as smart or moral or intellectual, and you humiliate them for their opinion, they tend to shut up and they tend to start singing a different tune. Uh, Humiliation is a powerful tool, and I think only a few people know this. I mean, politics is not
Yeah.
consensus. It's not worked upon consensus.
Yeah.
Politics is worked upon conflict, and the left understand that much better than the right.
Yeah.
The only right that understands this concept is in El Salvador and it's in Argentina, and to a certain degree, Donald Trump and the right wing and JD Vance, for example. So and they understand that the tool, the weapon that they have against the left is humiliating them for their stupid opinions. And so that's
Yeah.
why you see that the most effective campaigns are when they go to college campus and they shut them up with facts, or they make them seem stupid, or
No,
when JD
you
Vance.
or you
Do you
make
remember
fun.
that
Or you
interview? Do you remember that the JD Vance interview that says, "I don't care, Margaret"?
facts mean nothing to them, but you can certainly make fun of them. You,
Yeah.
you all you can do is render is to get them to shut up and basically crush their spirits and destroy their self-esteem. You cannot they will not be educated, but you can at least figure out a way to render them harmless, because they're not harmless. They're very damaging, and they haven't went away in spite of the fall of the Soviet Union. They're more powerful now than they ever have been. Yeah, I didn't want to go into a long tirade about this, though. Let's get back to the speech.
Yeah, we're what, 30 minutes to
Además,
go? Yeah.
aprovecho
What?
We're what, 30 minutes to go? How much time is
20,
left?
27 minutes to go.
Oh, yeah, there we
para
go.
decirle al gobernador Kichilov que mientras siga sosteniendo que los delincuentes, los asesinos y los violadores son víctimas del sistema, en línea con el wokismo jurídico de Zaffaroni, no solo no tenemos nada para conversar, sino que además quiero decirle que jamás resolverá el gravísimo problema de inseguridad de la provincia, ya que ser tolerante con los delincuentes es castigar a las personas de bien.
We mentioned is it Kilikov or
Kisilov.
Kisilov? And he also mentioned Serafoni. I don't know who Serafoni is.
Zaffaroni. There's Kisilov and Zaffaroni. So Kisilov is the governor of Buenos Aires province. You
Yeah.
know that there are two. There's Buenos
There's a
Aires
city
city,
there's a city in the
Buenos
province, yes.
and they used to be an independent country, and then they were part of the union. And but Zaffaroni is a judge up until I think 15 years ago. He was a part of the Supreme Court, and he wrote a lot of jurisprudence
Yeah.
and about this thing that I told you, um, critical law theory and all that.
Yeah.
He's most well known for his garantism concept. So garantismo means that people commit crime because the government and the society is not a guarantor of their education or opportunities. So
Yes.
because they're not given these opportunities, they commit crime. Therefore society is to blame for not being the guarantor for these opportunities that these people never had. That
Yeah.
is garantism.
Yeah.
Si quiere resolver el problema, tiene dos alternativas: abandonar esa visión abolicionista y castigar a los criminales, o correrse del camino y dejarnos resolver el problema nosotros. Porque si hay algo que caracteriza a este gobierno nacional es que no nos tiembla el pulso y los problemas los arreglamos en serio.
Damn straight.
Durante demasiado tiempo la política le dijo a los argentinos que no iba a castigar el delito, que los delincuentes eran víctimas de un sistema injusto y que por lo tanto no eran responsables de sus acciones. Lo único que lograron fue que para muchos delincuentes delinquir ya no tuviera costos. Lo sufren los bonaerenses todos los días. Pues bien, con los proyectos de reiterancia y reincidencia del gobierno aprobado por este Congreso, terminaremos finalmente con la puerta giratoria en la Argentina.
Oh, this is important.
Yeah,
So
it's
what
important.
what Milei and this guy Liberona said, basically proposed as a law that was approved by Congress, was the la ley de reincidencia. Basically, if you commit a crime and you go to jail, or you're not trialed, or basically, if you commit a crime and you go to jail, and then you go out and you commit another crime, your sentence will be tougher because it's the second time you've been to jail, right? And if you commit a crime and you are in trial, and then while you're in trial you commit another crime and you're found guilty for both, your sentence is gonna be added up. Before this law, these two things were independent from one another, and if you were already in jail, your sentences were commuted at the same time. You understand what I mean? Am I making sense or not?
Yeah, you're making sense.
Okay, so that was before, and now you basically sentences are added up, and if you committed a crime and you commit another crime, then it's going to be a tougher sentence, and so on and so forth. So basically, society is going to give you as many chances as you want, but the punishment is going to be more severe, basically. And I find that completely rational and logical and all good and nice in the world, and we should do it more.
Yeah.
Además, la implementación del nuevo Código Procesal Penal en todo el país está demostrando de forma inapelable su capacidad de acelerar los tiempos de un juicio de años a meses, y tenemos la responsabilidad de extender el funcionamiento de este sistema a todas las provincias del país. Pero la eficacia del proceso penal es solo una arista de la cuestión. Necesitamos elevar los costos para quienes delinquen. Por eso necesitamos aprobar la ley de baja de la edad de imputabilidad, para que quienes son lo suficientemente conscientes para cometer crímenes de adultos paguen las consecuencias de sus actos como adultos. Pero lamentablemente llegará tarde, porque hoy uno de los asesinos de Kim tiene 14 años y goza de ser inimputable. No se lo puede juzgar, y el otro criminal cometió delitos siendo menor de 16 años, lo cual significa que con nuestra ley de imputabilidad no hubiera estado libre en un principio. Necesitamos bajar la edad de imputabilidad, y no solo eso, necesitamos también agravar todas las penas del Código Penal. Sí, todas las penas del Código Penal. Emprendiendo así la reforma del Código Penal más importante de los últimos 100 años, algo que tiene que ocurrir en carácter de urgente. Pero el problema no se limita al crimen ordinario. El narcotráfico y el terrorismo representan un peligro claro y presente para los argentinos. Desde las ciudades tomadas por el narco hasta la tragedia de la familia Vivas, todos los días nos recuerdan que los argentinos necesitamos instrumentos para luchar contra quienes quieren atentar contra nuestras vidas. No tendremos piedad con el crimen organizado ni con el terrorismo. Para ello, la flamante ley antimafia nos permitirá meternos sin la intermediación de gobiernos locales en las madrigueras del narcotráfico. Además, estamos trabajando en una ley de seguridad nacional que le provea herramientas al Estado Nacional, a nuestro servicio de inteligencia y a nuestras fuerzas para perseguir a quienes quieren atentar contra la vida de los argentinos. Para concluir, no podremos resolver la crisis de delincuencia en nuestro país sin una justicia independiente pero efectiva. Y la justicia no va a funcionar correctamente hasta que la política se decida a dejar de politizar los nombramientos de los jueces, fiscales y defensores públicos. En esa línea, nosotros tenemos la intención de avanzar en el envío de los pliegos de todos los cargos vacantes de la justicia federal, incluidos el procurador general, el defensor general, el defensor del pueblo, todos los juzgados federales, todas las fiscalías y todos los defensores públicos que hoy faltan designar, que son alrededor del 40% de los magistrados de la justicia federal. Esto ocurrió este año con los candidatos a conformar la Corte Suprema. Si queremos ser un país serio, también debemos llevar a cabo una profunda reforma.
But no, we were too quiet and too still listening to our great leader.
Migratoria.
This is Donald Trump influenced migratory reform. Basically, in Argentina, you can come into the country and be given all rights as an Argentinian uh, if you come here to work. Therefore, definitely, and so you need to wait a couple of years to vote. But still, if you come here to work, you're definitely considered an Argentinian and you're given every right. The immigration reform is going to make it harder for droves of people to come into the country without any form of control, which basically was what it was like before. Now you have to basically you cannot abuse the healthcare, the public healthcare system, because we have a public system of health, and immigrants come to the country and they use it and then they leave, but they never paid any taxes for it, and therefore it's an unfair system. And so the reform incorporates two concepts. One of it is the concept of the insurance. So basically, you come into the country, you have to have health insurance. And the second immigration reform is that if you're a criminal in your country of residence, or if you could commit a crime here in Argentina, you're going to be immediately deported and brought to the authorities in the country of residence that you came from. Meaning that if you're Venezuelan and you came from Bolivia, you're going to be deported to Bolivia. But if you're Venezuelan and you came from Venezuela in a plane, you're going to be deported to Venezuela. So basically, we're going to send you back to the country you came from, and then you figure shit out on your own. That's it.
Well, it's kind of interesting. You notice when you don't have welfare, you attract different immigrants than when you do have welfare. And generally, you get better immigrants when you don't give them free stuff. But nobody seems to want to understand that. But Milei seems to understand that, but lots of people don't. They certainly don't in America.
Well, now if you don't have insurance, and because of Argentinian law, if you did something before the law existed, you are not. They cannot judge you by what you did before. But now the provinces, for example, are charging people for using the hospital if they come from a foreign country. So if you're from Paraguay, for example, and you cross the border to Salta, Jujuy, or Bolivia, and you cross the border to Salta and Jujuy, you're going to have to pay for your stay at the hospital.
Yes.
And that has brought a lot of problems because Bolivia and Paraguay are two very poor countries, and they had for years outsourced their social problems to Argentinian programs. Basically, people would cross the border, apply for any social service that Argentina provides, welfare, for example, and they would go back home with that program receiving money. And that was very wrong and very immoral, and it was basically corruption in its finest. And so people are sick and tired of it. And now with this law, with this immigration reform, we're putting a stop to that.
I'm all in favor of not giving them free stuff.
Yeah.
cómo funciona el cerebro y parece que no aprendiste nada. Léela bien.
I remember that. I had forgotten. You don't need to pause it. You don't need to pause it. It's a representative that started cussing at the president, and the president shut him up, and it became a huge scandal. And still, the guy was humiliated so thoroughly that he kind of disappeared into nothingness.
Quizás tu versión es con inteligencia artificial y cambia de libertaria a kirchnerista como hiciste vos, Manes.
The crowd is being rather interesting. He's just smiling and kind of licking it up. But we know what they're saying. He's just laughing. I love it.
Manes, te falta mucha teoría política. No podés confundir
Les pido un
colectivistas
silencio, por
con
favor, mientras
libertarios,
habla el
por favor.
presidente de la Nación. Muchas gracias.
Te falta mucha lectura, Manes.
She gets on the microphone. It's funny. Everybody shuts up when she tells them to shut up. I don't know what to make of that. She's got a nice voice.
No, because she's the Speaker of the Senate.
Yeah.
Or the president of the Senate, and she's the vice president, and therefore, if she calls to order, you have to shut up because she has the power to take you out of the premises.
Of course. So
Nuestra nación ha sido generosa con los inmigrantes, pero otra cosa distinta es ser tomado de tontos por nuestros vecinos o ser un centro de beneficiario pagado por el bolsillo de los argentinos. Queremos que aquellos extranjeros que estén de forma transitoria o temporaria en nuestro país tengan que pagar los servicios que utilizan. También debemos permitir a las universidades cobrarles a quienes no son residentes permanentes, así como es necesario endurecer severamente las condiciones de deportación para los extranjeros que delinquen.
yes, he was also giving free college to immigrants.
Yes. Not anymore.
Well, he wasn't giving free college, but Argentina was giving free college to immigrants, which is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but still, not anymore. This is a thing of the past. A fever dream.
And we see the Congress. Yes, we do. Oh, there's Amelia Orozco. There's Bertie Menegas Lynch. There's Lilia. There's Celeste. Yeah.
Es lo que hace cualquier país que se hace valer. Y si esto necesita algún tipo de justificación, es porque a lo largo del último siglo se ha vuelto costumbre la falta de respeto al pagador de impuestos. Por otra parte, tenemos que recuperar el imperio de la igualdad ante la ley, terminando con este sistema de cupos de distinto tipo que impone desde a quién emplear hasta a quién votar. Hemos llegado al punto en el que hay cupos hasta para emplear gente en medios de comunicación o para la programación de artistas en un festival, con la supuesta justificación de proteger a ciertos grupos percibidos como oprimidos. Hemos perjudicado injustamente a los demás, vulnerando la igualdad ante la ley que consagra nuestra Constitución. Tenemos que recuperar una verdad básica de la democracia liberal, que es el límite de los derechos de uno son los derechos del prójimo. Estos son unos pocos de los tantos proyectos de reforma de fondo en los que estamos trabajando y en los que avanzaremos en la medida que la dinámica política y la secuencialidad económica lo requieran. Finalmente, pero no por eso menos importantes, para hacer realidad estos proyectos y los cambios que el pueblo argentino demanda, estamos avanzando en un acuerdo con el Fondo Monetario Internacional para poder terminar de sanear el balance del Banco Central y salir del cepo cambiario definitivamente durante este año.
We were able to get out of the cepo. Yeah.
What'd you say there?
We were successful in that. El cepo means that the government prohibits you from buying foreign currency or gold or silver or whatnot. That's what it is. And in the past, no one was able to do it because they failed to control the parity between the dollar and the peso. Milei, with the system that he proposed, in which the dollar floats between 1,000, 1,100 and 1,200 pesos, uh, he was able to make it, and of course, maintaining the zero deficit program. Um, he was able to get out of that control, and now you can buy and sell foreign currencies without control or the government stopping you from doing it. And it's very interesting.
He's basically letting people use whatever currency they want. They can use Bitcoin, they can use dollars, whatever.
Not Bitcoin, not yet. Although it is in the plans, Bitcoin is not recognized yet, but the rest it is. And people need to understand it. There is an argument in foreign. I've seen foreign people talk about it, and they do not understand that Argentina has a different law system than the United States. In the United States, the system of law is called by jurisprudence, meaning a judge fails, and that becomes jurisprudence for the future. In Argentina, you need to typify the crime. Therefore, it needs to go through Congress or, well, through the justice system, which is the crime that you committed. And based on that, you're going to be trialed. If they cannot categorize the crime you committed, well, congratulations, you found the loophole. The same goes for economic and monetary programs from the government. Uh, the government needs to stipulate what is a currency and what is not, and many other things, and there are a lot of regulations, but they're not imposed by the government. They are imposed by the system of justice that we have. Uh, your system of law is based on common law. It's based on the Blackstone formulations. Our system of law is based upon canonic law and Roman law, meaning that we have an entirely different way in which we construct justice. It is from this type, if it comes from the phrase, the phrase Judeo-Christian.
I've heard it, yes.
Yeah, well, that phrase is generally referring to countries that have this system of law in place, in which the origin is canonical, meaning from the Bible, and the second part is from Roman law. And then, in the United States, you don't have that. You have common law, which originates in the Magna Carta, and then you have jurisprudence, and you have the Blackstone's formulations and all that stuff. And you have thousands of years, about thousands, hundreds of years of jurisprudence, meaning a judge failed that this is considered this, and therefore this is the penalty and whatnot. It is a more dynamic system of law, but it has its drawbacks because you can get off on technicalities. In Argentina, you don't have technicalities. Everything has been typified. Therefore, you either go to jail or you don't. But the problem is that if you commit a new crime that never existed before, you are not typified. Therefore, you do not commit a crime. Everything that is not prohibited is permitted under the law.
That's very. I still have to figure out and learn to understand that, but thank you.
Llevamos décadas con la mochila de déficit fiscal y endeudamiento, que se agravó porque durante toda la historia argentina, en lugar de enfrentar el problema fiscal, los distintos gobiernos eligieron endeudarse, ya sea con el mercado, con organismos multilaterales de crédito o con el propio Banco Central a cambio de emisión de dinero. Por eso, hoy, gracias a la solvencia de nuestro programa económico, estamos en condiciones de emprender este nuevo acuerdo sin aumentar nuestra deuda bruta. Para que se entienda la dimensión del problema monetario que arrastramos desde el inicio de nuestra gestión y para que se entienda también que estamos buscando con este nuevo acuerdo, es importante describir brevemente el problema. El Banco Central, como todo agente de la economía, tiene un balance patrimonial, cuya identidad contable señala que el patrimonio neto del mismo viene dado por la diferencia entre sus activos y pasivos. En cuanto a los activos del Banco Central, los mismos se componen de reservas internacionales y títulos públicos emitidos por el Gobierno Nacional. En cuanto al pasivo, en el mismo se encuentra la base monetaria, esto es, el dinero emitido que está en manos de los ciudadanos y los bancos en formato de encaje, y la deuda remunerado, lo que antes se llamaba LEVAX, luego LELIX, después PASES. En este sentido, cuando suben los pasivos del Banco Central, ya sea por emisión de pesos contra títulos públicos que no tienen mercado, es decir, emisión espuria, o por el devengamiento de intereses de los pases, el patrimonio del Banco Central se deteriora. De este modo, en la medida que el patrimonio neto se hace cada vez más negativo, se necesita mayor nivel de precios para licuar las deudas del Banco Central, tal que se ajuste al tamaño real de los activos del mismo. En este sentido, en la medida que el Tesoro se financia colocando títulos sin valor en el Banco Central, el nivel de precios de largo plazo es más alto y con ello mayor la tasa de inflación en el presente. Desde esta perspectiva, entonces, es muy simple explicar por qué desde la salida de la convertibilidad el precio del dólar se multiplicó por 1.200 veces. En primer lugar, por la estafa descomunal de la especificación asimétrica, lo cual implicó que la política se robó 14.000 millones de dólares que respaldaban la base en el 2001 y que a dinero de hoy, ajustado por la inflación americana, son 30.000 millones de dólares. Es decir, con la especificación asimétrica, ese chiste, digamos, tan impulsado alegremente y bancado por Clarín, que después, bueno, tuvo su ley, digamos, de medios para que no quiebre, digamos, ahí le robaron a los argentinos 30.000 millones de dólares. La segunda estafa fue el Fondo del Bicentenario, cuando por el capricho electoral de Cristina Fernández de Kirchner se extrajeron del Banco Central 10.000 millones de dólares, que a dinero de hoy serían 15.000 millones de dólares. O sea, ahí le robaron al Banco Central 15.000 millones de dólares, que en el fondo se lo robaron a todos los argentinos vía impuesto inflacionario. Sin embargo, el saqueo de los políticos por medio del Banco Central no se acaba con esas dos estafas monumentales, sino que a eso hay que sumar los 25.000 millones de dólares futuros en el 2015 y los 40.000 millones de las IRAs en el 2023. Esto significa que en los últimos 25 años la política vía el Banco Central le robó a los argentinos 110.000 millones de dólares. Vengan ahora a hablar de estafa piramidal, dale. Por lo tanto,
he seems to be toning it down a little bit more now.
No, he's reaching the end of the speech, and he's pretty tired already. You can tell because everyone, like the opposition politicians, that don't listen because the microphones are not pointed at the floor of Congress. But you can they've been constant on him the entirety of the speech, and he had to and until one where the one that is called Manes, uh, he replied to Manes, and he basically humiliated. And at this point, you can tell that he is kind of like exhausted because he's been talking for an hour and a half, and then he goes out of there and he goes and does a speech for 6 hours, an interview for 6 hours, and he's been on and off entirely of the day. But his even though his tone is certainly quieter, he's not toning down the rhetoric. He's doubling down. He recently called the right before he called the social security. He called it a pyramid scheme, and he was pointing like the bicentennial fund. He called that a pyramid scheme. He called the program that I don't remember the name of in English to get out of the parity between dollar and the peso. There was a program in order to leave that parity without crashing, and it was a huge failure, and it crashed the economy, and it was horrible, and he called that a pyramid scheme, and he was basically telling politicians that they were the greatest con artists around, and so he was basically not toning down what he is saying, although his tone is definitely less vehement or less agitated. I don't know how to say it.
De destrucción del activo del Banco Central, no debería sorprender el desastre inflacionario que hemos vivido en los últimos 20 años. Y dado que el dólar es un precio más de la economía, es casi natural que se haya multiplicado por 1.200 veces, como dije antes. En función de ello, nosotros hemos cortado con el déficit fiscal y el cuasi fiscal, por lo que el BCRA ya no volvió a estafar a los argentinos con emisión de dinero, ni para el Tesoro ni para los intereses de los pasivos remunerados, ya que de hecho la base monetaria amplia permanece constante desde mediados del año pasado. Así como lo escuchan, la base monetaria amplia no crece desde mediados del año pasado.
Mm-hmm. Basically, he hasn't printed money since he took office. That's what he's saying.
Tampoco se buscó la solución mediante la toma de deuda en el mercado, ya que la deuda consolidada de la nación bajó en 30.000 millones de dólares. Nosotros no proclamamos el desendeudamiento en palabras, lo hacemos en los hechos.
There we go. He picked up speed again, right? It looked like he was toning down. He goes back up again.
Yes, he did.
Por lo tanto, el presente acuerdo con el FMI lo que busca es restaurar el activo del Banco Central y con ello su patrimonio, para que de este modo la inflación sea solo un mal recuerdo del pasado. Así, el dinero que ingrese del FMI, el Tesoro lo utilizará para cancelar parte de su deuda con el Banco Central. Al mismo tiempo, se podría objetar que si bien la deuda bruta permanece constante, hay un cambio en el acreedor. Sin embargo, este argumento implicaría aceptar que la política está dispuesta a seguir estafando a los argentinos con los de inflación. Esto es, alguien podría señalar que estamos cambiando impuestos explícitos por un impuesto implícito no legislado. Sin embargo, lo interesante aquí es que nosotros vamos a honrar nuestros compromisos y los fondos para enfrentar esta deuda surgirán de un mayor ajuste fiscal vía reducción del gasto público, de modo tal que la operación resultante en una transferencia de riqueza desde el Estado a todos los argentinos de bien, y en especial a los segmentos más vulnerables de la población, ya que ellos son los más castigados por el impuesto inflacionario. A su vez, dada la importancia estratégica que tiene este acuerdo para la Argentina, quiero anunciarles que en los próximos días le pediré al Congreso que apoye al Gobierno en este nuevo acuerdo con el Fondo Monetario Internacional. Este nuevo acuerdo nos brindará las herramientas para allanar el camino hacia un esquema cambiario más libre y eficiente para todos nuestros ciudadanos y para poder atraer mayores inversiones que se traduzcan en menor inflación, mayor crecimiento y nivel de empleo, con las consecuencias mejores salarios que implican menor cantidad de pobres e indigentes. Quiero ser claro con una cosa. Nosotros vamos a resolver el problema que todos los gobiernos anteriores causaron con el déficit fiscal y su financiamiento. En consecuencia, esperamos que este Congreso adopte la misma postura que tuvieron con todos los demás, que es acompañar desde sus bancas, apoyando al Gobierno en este nuevo acuerdo. En definitiva, como verán, si bien hemos colocado los cimientos del cambio, aún tenemos que poner ladrillo sobre ladrillo para reconstruir este edificio abatido que es nuestra nación. Y dado los vientos de cambio que soplan, estamos ante una oportunidad histórica. Muchos la han calificado tal vez como nuestra última oportunidad.
Mm-hmm.
Como expuse aquí mismo hace exactamente un año cuando los invité a firmar el Pacto de Mayo. Mi preferencia sería que abordemos esta oportunidad histórica de reconstrucción en unidad, con todos los sectores de la política y la sociedad empujando en la misma dirección. Todavía sueño con que este cambio de rumbo puede ser la oportunidad para comenzar un ciclo de unidad nacional que nos exceda como generación, como ocurrió, digamos, en la primer parte del siglo XIX, y que dentro de 100 años, cuando escriban de esta época, puedan referirse a nosotros como la generación del 20 que cambió a la Argentina. A nosotros no nos motiva el poder. Somos el primer caso en la democracia moderna que entra al año electoral sin hacer política económica teñida por el ciclo político, porque no tenemos una ambición de poder, lo único que tenemos es una ambición reformista. Y queremos darle la oportunidad a este Congreso para acompañarnos en el ambicioso proceso que hemos emprendido. Así podrían quizás recomponer su
You
relación
see
con
that
la
second
sociedad
jag
que
over
hoy
there that's
parece
almost empty?
irremediablemente rota.
What?
With Martin Menem, the second jug of water, it's also empty.
You're really getting a kick out of this. I think it's
Yeah. I remember I found it funny at the time. It was like, how thirsty must you be? You only drank water the entire and an hour and a half. I was like, doesn't he need to go to the toilet? Oh, he's holding it, right? Oh, he's holding it.
Well, I noticed that Vigerel has the fingers interlocked, whereas Menem also is just putting the tips of the fingers together. You notice that? Yeah.
I think
And
there's more
they're
of a,
always in that same in
yeah,
that same pose.
they didn't move. No.
Sometimes wonder if they're just statues and not real people, but it's that's
I
kind of
also remember finding it funny because during the campaign, Menem was like skinnier. He was definitely
oh,
more wiry. And when his speech came out, it was like the first time I saw him in a while, and he was like ripped. You know, you look at those biceps, look at those cannons over there. I found it funny.
Espero que tomen esta invitación por lo que es, una chance para participar de la tabula rasa que siempre hemos predicado y creemos necesaria para la reconstrucción nacional. Pero si fueran a declinarla, francamente, no nos sorprendería. Este Congreso ya demostró una y otra vez que entre ustedes y los argentinos, algunos no tienen problema de elegirse siempre a ustedes, en especial los que no vinieron. Esto es, algunos han hecho del Congreso un instrumento para defender las conquistas del Estado sobre el individuo, en vez de un instrumento para realizar los cambios profundos que el país necesita. Y ni que hablar de aquel sector de la política que está tan rancio al cambio y enemistado con la razón que ni siquiera se digna bajar al recinto para escuchar una apertura de sesiones legislativas.
He's poking fun at the politicians that didn't come for the opening of the Congress, of the session of Congress.
Pero si dudan aún acerca de nuestra vocación de cambio, recuerden lo que pasó el último año. Para todos y cada una de las reformas puestas en práctica nos dijeron que era imposible.
he was talking about the politicians that didn't come for the opening of Congress.
Yeah, you remember I pointed out that half of Congress seemed to be empty?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, all the opposition.
Yeah.
6 minutes left.
Pero pronto aprendieron a regañadientes que lo que nosotros nos proponemos lo cumplimos, no importa cuán empinado sea el camino ni cuántos obstáculos haya en el medio, porque para nosotros la política es el desafío de hacer posible lo que los políticos siempre dijeron que era imposible. Repito, para nosotros la política es el desafío de hacer posible lo que los políticos siempre dijeron que era imposible. Si no, miren lo que hicimos con el equilibrio fiscal. Por eso, si este Congreso eligiera no acompañar de forma mayoritaria al Gobierno Nacional en esta propuesta que les extiendo, sepan que eso no detendrá el proceso de cambio que el pueblo argentino nos encomendó. Lo vamos a hacer solo, lo vamos a hacer a nuestra manera, pero tarde o temprano lo vamos a hacer, librando la batalla que haya a librar en todos los frentes para lograrlo. Pelearemos en el Congreso de la Nación, pelearemos en las provincias y en los municipios, en la legislatura y consejos deliberantes. Daremos la batalla de visitante en los medios analógicos y lo haremos de local en las redes sociales. Lo haremos en la calle si así lo demanda la historia. Y nunca, pero nunca nos rendiremos. Jamás nos vamos a rendir.
Fight, fight, fight.
He's raising the energy level again.
Yeah.
Y aunque les cueste entenderlo y se resistan, vamos a hacer a la Argentina grande nuevamente.
Make Argentina great again. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
He's definitely going in for his finish. Yeah, this is when he starts to go into the finish. Let's get him pumped again.
Si aceptan mi propuesta, veré que están dispuestos a involucrarse en lo que el país necesita. Caso contrario, habrán demostrado que el único camino para cambiar el país es cambiar este Congreso. Por todo lo expuesto, queda claro que estamos ante una disyuntiva. ¿Queremos seguir aplicando las mismas recetas fallidas que nos llevaron al borde del precipicio o queremos salir adelante? Solo hay una forma de hacerlo, hacer de una vez por todas lo que corresponde. Yo me niego a creer que lo mejor de este país ya pasó. Al contrario, estoy convencido de que lo que mejor está por venir. Ahora la elección está en sus manos y los ojos del pueblo argentino están sobre todo sus...
No. But well, he's basically talking about the future and giving it more mystic approach to it. We are standing on the shoulder of giants, and we need to hold that responsibility and whatnot. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
We have a duty to the next generation and so on. Yeah.
Ustedes. De esta manera, quedan inauguradas las 143ª sesiones ordinarias de nuestro Congreso de la Nación.
Señoras.
Finalmente,
What are they saying now?
Habiéndose cumplido el objetivo de esta solemne asamblea, queda levantada la misma.
Perdón. Para. Wait. He's telling
What did you say there?
Villarroel. No, because Villarroel, as the vice president, is the one that tells Congress, well, we're in session, we're not in session. This is the first session, the inaugural address.
Yes.
And so Milei wants to finish the speech by saying que Dios proteja a la Argentina y viva la libertad carajo. Basically, God protect Argentina and long live freedom, damn it. And he didn't get to that part because everyone was clapping and chanting and all that. And Villarroel assumed, oh, okay, we're going to cut it here and we're going to go home because we've been listening to him talk for 1 hour and a half. And this was one of the first times in which Villarroel and Milei, I felt it off because Milei always finishes his speech the same way.
Yes.
Argentina y viva la libertad, carajo. But she knew that. And she wanted to cut him off before he actually said it. So it was kind of weird. And it was one of the times. And Milei let it off the hook. He was like very jokingly, he's like, wait, I want to finish the speech. And he's going to say now, Dios proteja a la Argentina y viva la libertad, carajo. Viva la libertad, carajo. Viva la libertad, carajo. And then Villarroel is going to finish the speech.
To use a baseball analogy, it's like you're mobbing the guy before he gets to touch home plate, which he has to do or it's not a home run.
Que Dios bendiga a los argentinos, que las fuerzas del cielo nos acompañen y ¡viva la libertad, carajo! ¡Viva la libertad, carajo! ¡Viva la libertad, carajo!
Viva la libertad, carajo.
It's like a chant,
Yeah.
I noticed, and Gordo Dan's YouTube channel is called Carajo too. I love it.
Yeah. And his show is called La Misa, basically Mass.
Mass, you said? La Misa? Yeah.
La Misa is when you go to Mass.
Go to church, yes.
Yeah, when you go to church. That's basically it. That's what it means. It's go to Mass. La
the
Misa.
Church of
Vamos a la
damn
misa.
Cumplido el objetivo de esta solemne asamblea, queda levantada la misma.
There we go.
Señoras y señores, han
Well,
sido las
what do you
palabras
think?
del señor presidente de la
He
nación,
hugs Celeste and Lily. Oh, yeah.
doctor Javier Milei.
So, what do you think?
Another good speech. He's always great to watch. It's like a religious experience. It's amazing to watch what this guy. We do not have anybody in the Libertarian Party like this in America.
Yeah. I think there is no one like him in the world. I
I,
think the
I
only
don't know if
guy.
there is either.
I think the only guy that captures the zeitgeist like Milei is probably Donald Trump. And you're not a fan of him, but still.
There's nothing. Trump is all. Trump is all. There's no substance there, though. It's all just show. It's not. It's none of it's sincere. Milei actually has ideas and beliefs. That's what.
Mm.
Not to mention Trump. Milei has an amazing youth appeal. Trump doesn't have youth appeal at all.
You think so? I don't think so. There's a lot of young people that actually support. Uh,
Well, he's got
Most
some,
of
but
the
he doesn't
young.
have. He doesn't have
He
70%
became a
of
meme.
voters under 30 like Milei does.
Oh well, yeah, but that is like you can vote with 16 years of age in Argentina. Of course, children are gonna be flocking to someone for the meme.
They lowered the voting age because they thought it would help the socialists, and then the socialists found out it blew up in their faces. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, kind of fun.
If that had happened in America, American libertarians would be complaining, "Oh, you lowered the voting age to 16. No, so all the socialists will vote for you." Milei, that's the thing. Milei actually sees somebody change the rules, he adjusts and then figures out how to use the rules against them. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Glad you think so highly of my president.
Argentines. A lot of people think highly of your president. It seems like Argentines are using it as a point of pride. Hey, people around the world love our president. It's making them love him more, which is good.
Yeah,
I
I think.
I'm
I
not
think
sure how I could give him money, but I'd love to give him money.
Shut up and take my money. No, keep talking and take my money.
But what I am giving him is I'm giving him the most coverage of any podcaster in English.
Oh, there we go.
I'm sure there's Spanish speaking podcasters who are way ahead of me, but I am way ahead of all the ones in English. I will say that. But yes.
Yeah, I think
And it's all about what we can learn from this. This is one of the few men in the world who gives me hope today.
You should move here.
He's also about my age, so that's another thing that helps probably.
Well, I'm glad you're so happy about my president. We worked really hard in order to make him president. It was truly a difficult campaign, and we all did our best.
Cumplimiento de la ley 26.522.
I think we can say goodbye to that speech. That was I'm reminded of what I enjoy about doing these speeches. I gonna get somebody else on here to do his Hoover Institution speech. I want to get that because he's actually speaking to an academic audience. That will be really cool to watch what he does speaking to academics. So, but yeah, it's and I forget, you're where? You're not in Buenos Aires, but you're where are you?
I am in Buenos Aires, but in the province. Not in the
Okay, you're in
city.
the province. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You said you got a new apartment, or
Yeah, something like that.
and now
I'm
the
4 blocks away
speech
from
is
my
over.
childhood
Let's
home.
say hi to the dog now that the speech is over. So, since the dog was barking, we'd love to see him. Dogs are always welcome on this show.
I'll try to bring my dog. I'll try to bring my
I hope
puppy.
I can have an interview with Milei, sit on a couch. He can sit on a couch. He can have all 4 dogs in the room with us. That's totally cool.
I'm gonna bring my dog next time.
What breed of dog is it?
I have a giant schnauzer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a Argentina. It seems like Argentines really like dogs, and that's a sign of
We
a
are
healthy.
the country with most pets per capita.
Interesting.
Yeah, in the world.
You know
We have
what?
more
I do
pets
wonder.
than any other country in the world. per
I
capita.
do wonder sometimes if people are doing that though, is they're taking in pets as a substitute for having actual kids. But
Yeah, no, this been going on since the 80s. Like
that's good.
we always had a lot of pets, and it's kind of a hobby to take care of dogs on the street. People would
Yeah,
leave food outside, and when the dog is tame enough, they will bring him
yeah,
in. And in winter, they bring the dog in, and there's always an old dog on the neighborhood, and men
yeah.
generally. I always found it odd. My father, uncles, uh, older people would always look at an old dog and treat it with an odd sense of respect. You know, the old dog they call it, like mira el
Yeah,
perro viejo, and they would give him food and whatnot. And it's more of a woman thing, you know, to take care of the
yeah,
puppies on the street. But the old dogs are kind of like for the men. Like, look at that man, look at that old dog. Like, respect.
yeah.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird connection with people here and animals. And well, I think there is a thing about being oppressed and battered down by politics and politicians and the caste and all that, that you kind of feel like you're identified yourself with the dog. You know, I don't know. Probably there's some connection.
Well, I don't know if they have as many organizational programs and stuff here as they do elsewhere. In Mexico, there seems to be, what you'd call a neighborhood dog.
Oh yes.
No, but nobody really, nobody is responsible for the dog per se, but the dog is just kind of in the neighborhood, and everybody kind of feeds it here and there. Uh, you've got I was in Tbilisi, and they actually just let the stray dogs roam, but they do kind of mark them to show that they've been given shots and stuff. It's the way countries handle their dogs is kind of interesting. I do think it says a lot though, because I some of these cultures are very hostile toward dogs, and I think they're very sick cultures, to tell you the truth. I mean, you look at what, and it's just amazing. If you look at all the things that dogs do for us.
Hmm.
I mean, they've got dogs. Dogs can detect cancer. They can monitor your blood sugar levels. They can. They will protect you. You hear stories of dogs going and sleeping on graves of their owners, and just they're just remarkable creatures. I mean, yeah. I've seen Milei occasional photo with a dog. And said, yeah, that you when you see a person with dogs, you see who the person really is.
Yeah,
And
probably.
hey, the other thing too is for men and women out there, if your dog does not like a potential boyfriend or a potential girlfriend, you pay attention to what that dog's telling you. The
Here,
dog
here, the
knows.
spokesperson has spoken.
Yeah, the dog.
The fountainhead decrees. Introduce your future boyfriend or girlfriend to your dog.
Oh heck yes. You know how it is. I'll be out in public somewhere and I'll see a woman have a dog. I immediately start talking to the dog. I said, well, I'm going to have to pass this test anyway, so might as well get it out of the way. And of course, I will pass the test. So dogs are great. I mean, sometimes you can encounter. I encountered some feral dogs in Colombia. Some of them can be pretty feral. You got to be careful of those dogs that are just because they've never had people be nice to them, so they're a little bit
I've
angry. But
seen dogs like that, but mostly
yeah,
in big cities. I haven't seen dogs like that in neighborhoods. I
yes,
see neighborhood dogs sometimes, and we have like a couple of them. We have like 10 or 20 roaming around, and they have like corners for one another. There's like five dogs in one corner and
yeah,
five other dogs in another square over there, and we go like packs roaming around the neighborhood, but they're kind of like at peace. They don't mess with one another. They and people feed them and they give them shots. And the municipality actually has a program for stray
yeah,
dogs to not euthanize them. They give them the
yeah,
shots and they castrate some of them, and they can only kill them if they attack a person. And when a dog
yeah,
attacks a person, then people generally know which dog it is, so they call up and say, "Okay, this dog needs to go," and they go, they take him
yeah.
someplace, and they euthanize
About
him. But
15.
outside of that, I and there are a lot of like non-profits. Like every neighborhood has like a non-profit that takes in dogs from the streets, and they try to find a home for these dogs. Yeah,
Yeah,
there is one here, like I think 9 blocks away. There's
yeah,
and it's entirely made by the neighborhood. Like if we have too many dogs, then the neighborhood, this nonprofit takes like a bunch of them in for a couple of weeks, and they use Facebook Marketplace, and they through Facebook Marketplace they try to find them new owners and stuff like that, and they give them the shots, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's really well.
anyways, I gotta go.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah. Well, we'll certainly look forward to having you on again, Agustin. I've got
Yeah,
my
whenever.
poster I might see in Buenos Aires next month. And thank you for the longest forum we've done, although we'll see what happens after the edits. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel on all the platforms. Go buy my novel, Escape from the Village. Check out my Substack. Go to Buy Me a Coffee to give me money. And thank you, Agustin Beldi. Thank you, Javier Milei, and the Oficina del Presidente YouTube channel. I'm Chris Baker. We're out. Buy my novel, Escape from the Village, from major booksellers online. Go to escapevillage.com. Subscribe to the Substack. Go to fountainheadforum.substack.com. Support the forum. Go to buymeacoffee.com/fountainheadforum. Thank you.